Wait a minute.
Uh,
How did my cameras get off? How did that happen?
are we all are totally botched
No,
up in
no,
composition stuff?
no. It
Are we
was
all
just
sitting at the child's
for
table?
some reason it went
Oh.
down to my camera instead of Frank.
So I'll be
Oh,
playing
you know
Brazil
what I can
today.
do? I can just
Nice.
switch them around. Oh, that switched
Okay.
everyone around. Oh shit.
Oh, what's happening? Ah, it's nice.
Hey, look at that.
It's weird. We have like the top two ones missing and the bottom right.
Listen, I was in a hurry. Okay.
That's okay. So
Is it?
you do you.
Is it?
It's not, but I'm trying to be. That's awesome. I'll use this light for effect.
All right.
We're not really out of the ocean.
Well, just to actually start the stream, welcome to another night of Forsaken and hashtag tech issues. I'm so sorry that we were a little bit late, but I restarted my computer on Saturday, and we've had some technical difficulties because of that.
Boss,
Yes.
if you get an opportunity, can you just take a peek?
I'm
Okay.
constantly on your crop.
Because I'm jammed way off to the
You
left.
have a problem? Oh my
I'm
god.
sitting like this close to the edge of like this much and the other. Everyone else is centered.
Oh my
I want to be centered too.
goodness.
I'm a ham.
Okay. All right.
Hi, Cookie.
Okay.
So glad you could join us.
I'm trying to get
my
you set
school
here.
child antics.
Right.
Thank you, Steph.
Well, it's the least I can do.
I spend like 8 minutes making sure my composition is centered.
I know.
Before
I
turn
know.
the camera
I know.
on,
You
so
you put a lot of
it's
thought
a little
into
like,
it.
oh,
I understand.
please.
I understand. All right. So, I'm going to try to give a recap of last week while I'm fixing this. This is going to be exciting. Yeah, so last week, y'all started out on the boat, on Magdalene's boat. Had a conversation. We'll talk to Magdalene for a while, I think. Let's get some nice music going here.
Ooh.
Had a conversation with Magdalene, found out a lot of information. What was all the stuff that y'all learned from Magdalene? Anything important?
Yep, a thing or two. Some confirmation on who, reluctantly, she was very reticent to,
Yes.
give out that info.
Mm-hmm.
But who the Great One was, revealed that it was a person initially,
Yeah.
and then became sort of an entity that was just forever seeking more power.
Yep.
And that was Rhaenyra's ancestor.
Yeah.
Sim.
Yeah. Yeah. And then after you found that out, you had, well, it was kind of a toss-up around that time where you were trying to figure out how to tell Rhaenyra, because you had a talk with Tegan, right, in his room?
Mm. Yes,
overnight.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
Juniper had some fun conversations with something. Yeah?
She did, in fact.
Yeah. Okay, this is going to get really dark for a second. Just bear with me.
Where'd Steph go? No object permanence.
My automatic exposure was turned on.
Oh,
I was not exposed enough.
Oh.
So, yeah, Juniper had a nice conversation. I feel like something else happened that night that I'm missing. Something else. Zavar, did you? No. Maybe not.
Gerbil.
Oh, I had a dream. Oh, sorry. Good.
Oh, yeah, you had a dream
Gerbil
as
had a
well.
dream,
And then the next morning, you had breakfast, that you continued, I think, talking to Magdalene. That's when it kind of started coming out about Rhaenyra, and Magdalene gave you some space at the table to talk it out with your fellow party members. And, yeah, then you had the talk with Rhaenyra. Let him know what Kazil knew. What Kazil originally found out, what Tegan knew, let the rest of the party know. And Rhaenyra, I think, took it as well as he could have. All right. Well, I'm hearing all kinds of something happening in chat. Thank y'all, viewers, for watching. We appreciate it so much. That's pretty much what happened. I think we ended last session with Magdalene being like, I see a ship. And then that was our cliffhanger for last week's episode. And let's see, we got our music going. So I guess that brings us into tonight's session. You'll have to excuse us. We have Gerbil missing this evening, as well as Rhaenyra, and it looks like possibly Pixrin as well. But we will trudge on with our 4 wonderful players here into what's next. All right, so let's get started finally. Y'all had just kind of like not really finished your conversation with Rhaenyra, but had kind of come to a lull in the discussion. And
William says, "Have a good night and amazing day tomorrow."
Ah, so wholesome.
And yeah, so you just kind of come along in the conversation. Magdalene poked her head down the stairs and was like, not to interrupt your conversation, I'm sorry, but I think I see a ship. And she'll just kind of, if you want to come and see it, you can. And so she'll kind of like duck her head back and get back upstairs.
Junie's bounding up behind her,
Absolutely, absolutely.
looking for Kazil in his spy task, because I don't.
Oh, not far behind.
All right. So you're up on the top deck. Anyone not moving up to the top deck?
Nope, Tegan's going.
Okay. You'll see Ingot at the there at the railing, I guess. There's a word for do you know that? Do you know a word for that, Dan? Like the railing
The
on
whale,
The little boat wall.
the rail. Yeah. So
the
at
whale
the railing.
with a W.
Oh, the
I think.
whale.
No,
Okay.
it's a
I think
rail.
so.
It's a rail.
What?
It's a
Dan.
I've read it as whale before, so but I'm not I don't know for sure.
Okay.
The
So.
Maritimers here.
All right. So at the railing of the ship, you'll see Ingot kind of leaning, just kind of casually, leaning her elbows on it and just looking out. Not really that excited. Magdalene will be at the railing of the ship looking out. I would say, what would this be? To the... it's out there to the east, and she'll kind of point out to the water. As you look around, I'll say that there's not that much, it's mostly water around you. You do see off to, if she's pointing to the east, you'll see off to the north, kind of what you're heading towards. You'll see almost like at least like maybe a semicircle of islands that seem to be kind of going off into the horizon, of smaller islands, not big islands. You see the bigger island in the distance, but these are smaller islands that you'll arrive at probably sometime soon, but not like right now. So Kazil, you're getting your telescope out?
I'm
Okay.
gonna look first at the boat, but then if I see any people on it, I'll just scan quickly.
Okay. So you're looking first at the boat out in the horizon, or the boat you're on?
The boat that the captain saw.
Okay. Yes. So you look, and I would say the rest of you, also you'll be able to see like a ship in the far distance. Kazil, you will see a ship in the distance with a black flag. And why don't you make a perception check for me, please? With advantage, please, since you're using the telescope.
Okay. The old trusty. aluminum dice for
Yes.
nine here. Alright, so nice. Perception, you said?
With advantage.
Oh, okay.
Because you have good perception anyways. I don't know why. I'm basically giving it to you.
Okay, nice. 15 and 18, so 18, and perception is 28.
Yeah, I knew it.
It's one of three
There's
things
no
I can do
lose
well.
here, apparently. Alright, so, Kazeel, you would see through the telescope, you see this black flag, and it looks like possibly on it. Actually, you know what? Let me send you a private message.
Okay.
You, in almost like it's like this.
Okay.
Um,
Have I ever seen this before?
no, you haven't. I won't even make you
Okay.
roll for it. You haven't seen it before.
That's...
Um,
Oh, sorry. Good.
yeah, I'm sorry. You'll just, it looks like a typical kind of like medium to large ship. It looks like your typical kind of like sailing ship that you would find out on the ocean, I would say. You know, you see the flag. You don't see anyone through the telescope on like the top deck.
Mhm.
You don't see any cannons out or anything. It does have its sails up. And I would say that you also see... You see that green glow from the ocean, but I would say it's even trailing up into the ship a bit.
Like behind the ship?
No, like, what's in all of the water, pretty much. A light green glow. The ship itself has kind of a weird glow to it as well that's similar to the glow of the ocean.
Well, that's either adorable or terrifying.
What is it?
That's, I don't see anyone aboard the ship, but they have a flag. It's a black flag with a heart with cupped in two hands. With a bit of a white outline. So either it's very sweet or very deadly. Like, is it a heart like that?
Juniper.
Or is it...
Uh-huh.
This is this is very familiar to you.
Kazeel, I'm gonna ask you as politely as I can. Can I use your
Oh!
Juniper wants to hold Kazeel's
can I,
telescope.
please? I need to hold it really bad. It's yeah.
Well, if you insist.
Waiting all night for that.
Right, just saying this before, please.
Yeah, and she will be as respectful as possible, but she is staring at that ship, checking to make sure that what she just heard is what she just heard.
You look through the telescope, Juniper, onto the horizon, and do you want me to let you know openly, or do you want me to direct message you?
No, open. It's fine.
Okay. Yeah. From what you can tell, you haven't seen it from this distance in quite some time, like, you know, on a couple of occasions maybe, but from this distance, and it has that weird glow to it through Kazeel's telescope, through this distance, it, yeah, it definitely looks familiar. I mean, beyond familiar. And you see the flag, and you feel like your breath kind of, I don't want to tell you how to be, but like you definitely...
She's leaning against the railing pretty hard.
You hear this kind of something in your head, Juniper. That's it. That's it. You see it, right?
Yeah, I see it.
Well, go get it.
It's just.
Juniper, what?
Tegan, not it's far. Kazeel,
Hey.
I need to give this back to you before, before I take it with me.
Hey. Look at
I will say the ship's about probably. I mean, I'm so good with measurements.
How many football fields? How many bread boxes away?
A couple of football fields away.
Okay. That would be a problem
How
if
many
she doesn't
washer
have
dryers is it wine?
Yeah. If she doesn't have a swim speed of her walking speed and underwater breathing and a ship in her pocket, that might be a problem.
Just have to see this.
with you where?
It's headed this way. Yes.
No, you're looking at the back of the ship.
What? How do we?
But it doesn't seem, you don't see, I'll say Kazeel and Juniper, you would notice, looking through the telescope, that you don't see, you didn't see a trail of water behind it. So it doesn't look like that it's moving. It looks like it's sitting still.
But that,
Anchored, maybe. Or just
flow.
sailing free.
I don't want to ask this because I'm afraid I already that we can see the green glow from here, and it's touching the ship or it's creeping up.
Hey, you saw that too?
It's just whether I want to know or if I need to let it go.
Do you recognize the ship?
Yeah.
Oh,
Doesn't belong here. I don't belong here.
oh. Is it
but-
friend or foe?
Was very friendly. Friendliest of all.
Oh,
You
I think they might need help. It looked like they was just stalled there or anchored.
just like, I don't have it on me, but she's just fidgeting with the bottle that's usually wrapped around her horns.
You hear, get it. Everyone make perception checks. It's looking over the side of it's looking over the railing right now. Is it William Dafoe?
Defoe.
Now I just want to have William Dafoe just be on the ship and be like,
Oh man.
hi.
Wow. I love it.
All right.
Are you gonna call or? I don't know.
Yeah. Juniper, what did you roll for perception?
Oh, nope, sorry. 18.
Okay. Kazeel?
25.
All right. Tegan?
17.
Great. Zavar?
17.
Wow. All right. Now, real quick, everyone roll for inspiration, please.
Done.
Also 17.
Okay. What did you
Right.
roll for inspiration, Tegan?
19.
I like how I looked at you and I was like just waiting for you to answer my question. Like you knew I was looking at you, Frank. So you said 17 and 19. Zavar, what did you roll?
16.
Kazeel, what did you roll for inspiration?
It was 25 as well. I'm sorry, inspiration. It was 8.
Oh, that was for your perception.
Yeah.
Sorry, I know it's confusing. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
Michelle, Juniper and Tegan, if you could re-roll for me, please.
Okay.
I'm only asking because I had an 18, and you
Oh.
both were just one away. So,
Mhm.
All right.
right.
I rolled a 10.
Juniper, what'd you roll?
12.
Juniper got it was a 17. So
Woohoo!
All right.
Nice,
All right.
Nice.
I'm rolling.
Remind me.
I'm rolling high now that it doesn't matter, but
Yeah.
later when I'm trying to roll for patties. I'll be rolling shit. All right. All right. So, perception checks. So, Juniper, you have the inspiration for tonight. In perception checks. All of you made it. So Especially as you're looking over the railing here, it's still fairly like it's mid-morning, very bright, let's say blue skies. The water, as you're looking over, you will see, you'll see the skeletons that seems to have to fill this water ever since Moldwich. There are skulls, bones, that sort of thing. Not like skeletons walking around down there, but you'll see like a lot of dead skeleton bodies littering the floor that you can barely see through the water. You also notice, did anyone get below an 18 with your perception? Okay. So everyone but Tegan. So Juniper, sorry, I'm burping, trying to hide it. Juniper, Zavar,
When
and
you state
Kazeel.
it, it's not gonna happen.
Well, it kept happening, so I kept having to
I just
pause.
see the
Anyways,
exact-
listen. So the three, so Kazeel, Zavar, and Juniper, the three of you. You see the skeletons, but beyond that, you also see like this glowing red at the bottom of like under the water. This water isn't it's deep enough for the ship, but it's not a very, very deep ocean, it doesn't seem like, or whatever you would call this. But you do see this kind of like red glowing vein that's going through the water, and just as your attention is caught to that, you see something else, something swimming underneath the water. There's 2 or 3 of them, and they pop up to the surface, and it is women. These kind of, one has like dark long hair, one has blonde, the other one has brown as well. They surface. Oh, I'm so, and you can see little like fins kind of splashing behind them a bit. So seems like maybe a mer creature of some sort. I'm so glad that you're here. We have a I hate to bother you, but what are you laughing at? Stop laughing! You're killing me. We have a problem that maybe you could help us with.
I've seen this before. Insight check.
Zavar's like, yes, how can I help
Magdalene will be like, if you want to roll an insight check, definitely, and I'll ask you in a second. Magdalene, what's wrong? Inget will probably like cross her arms and like just kind of turn away from the railing and just be like, Magdalene will act concerned. What's the matter? We have someone, the ship. There's one of our kind that's I think's been taken captive or been taken by the ship in some way. Wondering if we could have some help. Who rolled perception?
Oh,
Okay.
or insight.
Or insight, sorry. You rolled insight. Okay. Kazeel, what was your roll?
Just a 15.
Okay. Tegan, what was yours?
Dirty 20.
Okay.
Nice.
I would say you're both in about the same range of like, you can... Yeah, it seems a little suspicious. To you two.
Would you say fishy?
God.
Oh,
And
man.
I'm gonna kick Zavar right into the ocean. So
Damn.
But why kick Zavar when you can kick Mason?
It's okay.
it's true.
Oh. It's alright, Zavar's ready to jump in the water anyways.
Yeah. At this point,
These are beautiful women. Beautiful.
I don't need
Yeah,
any
hello.
excuse
In
to
fact,
get
let
to
me
that ship.
see. Oh, actually, all of you make wisdom saving throws, please.
Happy to. Oh, thank goodness it's low. I got a 4.
Is this a charm effect?
Mm.
Yes.
I'm immune to being charmed.
Okay.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I have advantage against being.
Okay, well then roll with advantage, please. Yes, Kazil.
No, it's. I don't think that. I have counter charm if I play a thing, but I don't think I would know yet. So
Okay.
I'm not going to do anything yet. I'm just checking really quickly. Oh yeah, I have advantage against being charmed. Okay.
Okay.
All right. That's fucking correct. Yeah, that's worse. All right, 14 plus 16.
Okay.
No, yeah, 16.
Juniper, what did you roll?
19.
Okay.
So we're gonna have to do better than that.
Zavar,
Nice.
and this works out fine anyways. Zavar, you feel like you need to go and help this woman, or this merfolk. You definitely, the ship should move. It needs to move now, so you can get to helping them speedily. So you think that you should definitely turn. The ship should turn and go towards the ship to help this poor merfolk lady out.
Magdalene, everybody, please. This is a serious situation. Can you use your, I don't know, make this ship turn around? We need to get over there. They're in danger. We need to help them.
Kazil, with your
Oh yeah.
magical prowess, because you're proficient in Arcana, correct?
I am.
Could you make an Arcana check for me, please?
Did I succeeded against that?
Yes.
Okay, I will have a thing I'm gonna do, but just so you know, 15 with Arcana.
Yeah, you can tell that you were just being charmed.
Oh, okay. Violin.
Okay.
When I start playing the saddest song on my
Okay.
violin.
All of a sudden, the
Sad
rest of you see
story.
Kazil pulling out the violin, starting to play this extremely beautiful but very wilting song.
Oh.
So as I play, any friendly creatures within 30 feet of me will have advantage on any other saving throws they have against being frightened or charmed. So if there's anything else for Zafar, they'll be will have advantage.
So all you do is you just pull out your instrument and play it.
Ooh,
Yep,
yeah,
a
he
very
does.
sad song.
For
Okay.
everyone within
With
30
the
feet.
greatest finesse. Yeah,
The greatest finesse ever.
Kazil,
Little-
I'm
it's
so
all about risk.
excited that you are into this movement and bringing out your instrument to help motivate us to help them.
That's
I look at you, you.
That's my ship. So either Magdalene's gonna turn this ship around, or I'm jumping into that water, or my own ship. I don't care about these more women. I care about that ship. Zavar.
That's a good reason to go. But
Can I catch up with you? Can I catch up with you? If she can't turn around, I understand you have to go. Turbo's got someone waiting for him at wherever the ship ends up. And
I think we can.
Well, this ship is going to the other ship. I'm sure of it.
I think we should all stick together.
Hey.
Let me see what
Emily gives you,
Magdalene will say. Juniper, what? So, are you sure this is the ship that you know it is? You're 100% sure.
I am absolutely. I've never been sure of anything since I stepped through a portal into this
Well, you're not.
hellscape.
I'm sorry. You're not from Dimglimt, right? Why would it be here? I don't belong here, and I'm here. And the library had the steering wheel. So part of the ship is already here when it shouldn't be, and now it's right there. And I haven't been this close to it. And
We'll have to go, Julie.
Oh yes, it's
Hey,
more reason to
Tager?
investigate.
I'm gonna pause if it doesn't seem like Zavar is because I know different charms work differently. If it seems like it's my playing isn't helping him, I'll pause for a minute. Well, let's just take a look. I have a spell to help figure out what's happening. I'm gonna start casting the spell.
Okay, so what was so the song? I'm sorry, I might have missed that when I was thinking about something else. What was the song doing again?
It was effectively in this case giving Zavar advantage on any saving rolls, and if he does any more against whatever charm.
Okay.
If it's just a one and done, then it's not helpful.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, it doesn't
so-
seem like his will resolve is changing.
Okay, I'm gonna put it away. It's a wee bit away, but I have a spell to help us at least better understand it. I'm gonna just start casting a spell.
Okay. What are you casting?
Well, I'm intentionally not saying in front of the mermaids,
Okay.
but I wanted you, the DM, to know that I was casting in case
Okay.
you feel any way about it.
But it is so you are making hand gestures, right?
It does have verbal and somatic components. I'm just focusing on really hard and squinting at the ship in the distance as I cast it.
Okay.
Kind of
They don't seem to react in any way. They just seem to be kind of there's one that seems to be mainly focusing on Zavar. The other two are just, please, we just need someone to go and see if our kind is being hurt in any way.
Great. Let's go.
If you're up for it, Tegan, I finished my spell. Now they won't notice anything yet.
Okay.
But I've used Wall of Force to create an invisible wall to box them in, so they can't move more than they have 20 feet of space or so on the deck before they hit that and can't go anywhere. Trying to keep them from being able to go anywhere.
Okay. Now they were in the water.
Oh, they're in the water. Okay,
Yeah.
I'll make it around them, a cube in the water.
Okay.
Does that make them? Is that an opaque?
Invisible.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
invisible.
Got it.
Choose horizontal, you can form a hemisphere. Okay, so you're just keeping them from leaving that area.
Yep. Pop them right in there. Yep.
Okay. Okay, and that's
Hey,
okay.
Tegan, you think? I mean, I don't even know about this story here, and I'll just forgive me. And then I'll look at Zavar, forgive me.
You'll hear a chorus of
Uh,
yes, of
well-
course, please.
Forgive you?
Well, for Ginny's sake,
I think, well, first, Tegan will go to Zavar. It's my experience if something looks too good to be true, it isn't true. And I'll say to Magdalene, why don't we approach on the far side of the boat, away from the mermaids? Take the
Tegan.
circuitous route to the boat. And
Tegan, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No,
Tegan,
that was- yes.
can what do you mean? Too good to be true. What are you saying?
I've set up many a trap like this.
A trap? But they seem so sincere.
We're not trying to trap you. A chorus of female. Yeah, 3.
She says they're not trying to trap us.
If they were trying to trap us, would they say they were?
We just want to help our friend.
Well, let's go check out the boat.
right.
Yes,
But
please,
let's
thank
not-
you.
Let's not rush onto the boat. Let's come up alongside and have a look.
I mean, I'm not opposed to being cautious, but they need our help. We should go.
Yes, please, thank you.
Right, Magdalene, let's.
Are you
let's
tired?
move
Do you
this
need
ship.
Do you need a rope to hold onto as we
That
kick
won't be
it around?
necessary. Yeah.
Well, I mean, we are a little starved for attention, so if you want to come down to the water to speak to us.
Oh,
Zavar.
Perhaps
I
in
wouldn't do that.
celebration.
I wouldn't do that.
Yes, please come down. Come on.
Listen, I'll hold you. I'll hold
There's a ladder
Zavar.
right here.
How are we gonna? We have to help them with the ship first. If we celebrate first, and then
Ooh.
something terrible happens to their ship, because we were celebrating, think of how sad they'll be.
But they need comfort
Big
while they're in
boss.
distress. There's nothing I can do on this ship. I am not a mariner, but I can give them comfort and support. You know.
But you'll slow them down in the water. Let's get there. Then why don't you keep them safe and company while we're there figuring out what's happening?
Or you can come and join us now. We might need some comfort while we're waiting.
These poor merfolk.
Can spells get through that wall of force, Kazeel? Does it just stop
God,
them
they can.
physically
They can.
from moving?
You've probably seen that, yeah, because we did that with the boulder.
Okay. That boulder.
But that's up to you. I don't wanna overstep. So.
If those, listen, I've met a lot of women in my life, Zavar, okay, and not half of them were on that ship, okay. If you want real people worth your time, it's not those things in the water, and if they keep flapping their mouths and slowing me down, so help me.
I'm very distraught about your language concerning these people. You talk down to them quite a bit.
It's fire. It's fire.
Yes, we're only wanting some
What is
help.
wrong?
Well, we're talking to Magdalene. Let's go.
Yeah.
Why are you all so
um,
resistant?
Get away
It's just-
from these.
You'll see
Yeah.
Magdalene
What's going on?
like do a little
Okay.
clap and just start like giving commands to the air,
How
and we'll turn back and be like, okay, we should be, and you'll feel the ship kind of start turning. Just hold on. We're gonna try to get as much speed as we can. Please stay away from the ship. Just give some space. She yells down
Be very
to
careful.
the.
Be very careful.
Are you sure you don't want to join us? Calling to you, Zavar.
Well, maybe
It
I
seems
can
like a
help
good
down
idea.
there.
Zavar, you open your mouth again.
I don't understand. Why are you so all negative?
Okay,
gonna
we'll be
glance at
waiting for you when you
Rhaenyra
get
again.
back. Yes, we'll be waiting.
Right.
Please come back.
Don't get between me and the ship, Zavar.
You feel
No,
the
we
ship
need
start
to get
turning
to the ship. Yeah.
We
and
take
start
it
moving
just a look
forward.
at
Yes.
the mermaids as we start to leave to see
Sure.
if they're illusory at all. Like my scam alert is in high. Like.
Are you just looking at them with your Kazeel eyes?
that and the old telescope just
Okay.
in case, but
Okay.
also my eyes to see like are they fake? Have I-
Kazeel's- Yeah. Make a perception check for me, please. A fresh one.
My gosh, it's terrible. Okay.
Oh,
That's
dear,
an
oh,
11.
I see.
Oh.
Not very
I'll
much.
give you a little bit of a leeway since you're looking through the telescope. Kazeel, I'll direct message you.
Okay. I just saw the last message in Zoom and I don't remember the context.
Because I said that you, Juniper, and Zavar saw like a red glowing vein under the water,
Okay.
almost like on the surface. I mean, on
That's
the
right.
floor of the ocean.
Don't
Okay.
sever it.
But then
It'll fall
that's when the mer ladies started appearing. So it kind of drew your attention away from it.
Gotcha.
Why don't you make an Arcana check for me, Kazeel, please?
Okay. That's 2 ones in a row. That's 6.
Jesus.
It happens. Arcana's not one of my good ones anyway.
Okay. Sending. Sorry. Don't mind spelling. Just ignore spelling. Spelling doesn't exist. I sent you the message, Kazeel.
Okay. Okay. Alright, thanks. let's bring it into a huddle, just for a minute. I'll turn to everyone. I'm gonna look at Renarius, and I don't know if we have enough of the bond yet, but I'm gonna be like looking at him, looking at Zavar, looking at him, looking at Zavar, like just like, do you have
I
the
look
spell
at you
magic,
and you look
Renarius?
at him.
Do you? Yeah, and he looks at me.
And I look at him.
But I'm just like, dispel. Do you have dispel? I'm not saying it yet, but I will if I need to. I know how you feel about it.
Kazil, are you wanting?
Bring it in, everyone, and I'll lean and try and pull a huddle if they're willing. I'll wave over to Inget.
Like she's leaning against the railing.
Like,
Who kind of looks at you like,
we're doomed.
and she'll like slowly like walk over. Magdalene immediately joins the huddle. Like, what?
Okay.
What is it? Do you not?
So a few things, and I'm just waiting to see is Renarius casting anything. If not, I'm going to. But I figured I'd give you a look just
Yeah, I did roll a 20 for him. So yeah, he'll start casting. What? Ooh.
Dispel is probably the thing that it can remove a magical effect. So.
Oh, on Zavar, right?
Yeah. I was like
Okay.
looking at him, looking at
Oh,
Zavar,
okay, got you. Yeah. So he'll start casting Dispel Magic.
Okay. Nice.
Magic.
Get rid of that magic there.
Get rid of that magic there.
Nice. So I think that those are certainly was a trap. I'll look at Tegan like.
Magdalene will kind of like peek her head out of the group. What? Oh.
Hey. Well, they're I think mostly illusory. There's nothing of them below the water. They're just sort of sometimes there's fins, other times there aren't. I put them in a wall of force. Well, it's very strange too that they were staying there and not coming with us. And I thought maybe they're just fake. I think it might be tied in with that red vein. So we need to look at this for Junie's sake. But on the way over, Tegan, if you have any other insights around
Ingit's like,
this
wait,
trap,
what red vein?
you don't need to see. Let's move the huddle.
Okay, so all of you like
Group shuffle.
Yeah, shuffle over to the edge. As you shuffle over, you'll see the merladies kind of suddenly start being like, wait, I can't move through this area. And you'll see them kind of like talking amongst themselves as you are sailing away from them. Okay, where's this red vein at?
It's right over there, and I'll point to wherever.
Well, that's weird.
Hey. And then, right after I saw that, they showed up.
Oh. And you think it's connected?
Does the red vein go over towards the ship? Is that where?
No. The red vein, the red vein doesn't go towards the ship. It just seems to be kind of spreading across the bottom, under the water on the floor of the water.
Is that usually here, Magdalene?
Yeah, I don't know what it is though. It appeared maybe like, started appearing. Well, it was weird. There for a bit, I came out to sell one day. About a couple 2 or 3 months ago, and the water was weird. Like it was there were some whirlpools, and it was really strange. But then and I thought that maybe it was something, and kind of looks at Ingot, something with the library or something, and so I went back to shore and tried it again a day later, or a couple days later, and those were there. The glowing red. I haven't tried to, investigate or anything, so...
Oh, with my sage background that's actually on this character, is that anything I've ever heard of before?
I mean, you can make a history check.
All right. Let me just a super duper quick check. If I get this researcher. No, if I don't know it, there's no advantage. It's just if I don't know it, I can find some of this. Anyway, I rolled 16 plus history set, so 21. Okay,
Okay.
maybe.
Um. Why don't you do me a favor? And I'm sorry to make you roll something else. Why don't you roll an intelligence check, please? Now let you do either that or wisdom. No.
All right. Mm-hmm.
I was going to say, hearing if you were in this huddle and you mentioned this red vein, and Tegan's going to hear the word red, and he's going to like sort of take another look at it. Is this red vein familiar and the same as the red chasm we saw when we approached the altar?
Make either a wisdom or an intelligence check. I'll give you the same benefit as Kazil. Kazil, what did you roll?
15 in total.
Great. I'll wait for
Wisdom
Tegan.
check. Yep,
I'm
roll the
sorry.
dice.
Wait. I'm sorry.
19, 16 plus 3.
Ooh,
Okay.
damn.
Yeah, Kazil, this doesn't look familiar to you. I mean, it doesn't seem like anything that you know of from, like, your studies and stuff.
Okay.
Tegan, you're kind of hearing, Kazil kind of trying to figure this out. And you start thinking, and kind of?
Yeah, he'll mention it because you remember across the huge chasm coming into altar, big red thing at the bottom. We couldn't get a good look; it was so deep.
That's
Might be
right.
part of the rift.
Ooh.
Either way, we got to give this thing a wide berth.
Aye. Is there a way, Magdalene, that we can go around it? Is it?
Oh, it's going all across the water. In fact,
Right.
if I go around it, I'd just be going over it. If that makes sense, it's.
Okay.
No, I understand.
I mean,
Is it
I've
the way
I
that, like,
I mean, I've sailed over it several times, and I've never had any issues after. As I said, like the water was weird one day. It was like it was being almost like forming whirlpools, like all over this water. And then like a couple of days later, I sailed out, and these were here, which they hadn't been there before. So.
how do we open it up? All right. Well, let's get to that ship. I've got about 6 minutes left. I'm holding. If they're not illusions, it's 6 minutes left.
Hey!
Yeah,
You hear in the distance, like, hey!
Ignoring. Does Zavar look normal again?
Let me see. Let me
I'm-
see what.
I would be very concerned if I can hear them, screaming.
Sorry, let me see what
Oh,
This
unless
one,
it's a
yeah.
timed effect.
and let me just read the thing on this.
I think they're being hurt.
I will
can we do?
say. I mean, it doesn't give. No, he's still acting. In fact, Zavar, you kind of are a little like, yes, you're going to help them and do what they asked, but you are sad to be leaving them. They were beautiful, the most beautiful women. If you're, I mean, if Zavar is attracted to women, you would definitely be attracted to these female mermaids.
What? They're trapped. We're going to help them. What? I don't understand. I think they are being hurt by being held there. They need to. We're going to the ship to help their comrades, and fellow people. Shouldn't we allow them to be free?
Well, I'm not doing anything.
Well,
It's
we'll just
probably
hope-
just the red theme, maybe a little whirlpool or
They're
something.
getting a little
No,
bit
no.
farther and farther away as you
What,
speak.
what can we do? How can we help them for right now?
I'm gonna look back at first means Zavar and Gerbil.
and then
Ah.
I'm gonna
What?
look at Tegan like,
Oh.
is this normal for Zavar? I don't remember Zavar being like this. You think he's?
He's looking very sweaty.
Kazil, are you trying to say something to me, Kazil? Are you trying to say something to me?
No. I was just worried about our friend Zavar seems in such a terrible plight with this.
You don't think it's natural?
And I'll look back and forth. I'll look at Tegan like.
Suddenly, Tegan a little slow on the uptake.
Gerbil just like narrows his eyes, like.
And with that, Tegan will cast Dispel Magic on Zavar. Yes, I have it.
Nice.
Oh, I think
nice.
Rhaenyra was casting. That's right. Rhaenyra was casting Dispel
Oh,
Magic.
yeah.
So don't worry about it. Don't worry about
Okay.
it. I'm sorry. I
Oh,
completely
okay.
forgot that was happening.
Oh, all right. Okay.
Rhaenyra, yeah. So I'll say around this time. I'm sorry that the Dispel Magic starts kicking in. Yes, you feel Zavar. You feel fine. You feel like, whoa, what just happened? Something about
I'm still.
mermaids.
I'm concerned for them for some reason. I mean, they need our help.
They can't hurt you anymore.
Wait a minute.
Zavar, are you okay?
I mean,
You gotta walk over
They-
and put a hand on his shoulder. It happens to the best of us. Usually at a bar at 2 a.m., but
I've spent many times at bars at 2 a.m.
but you'll get over. Just like
Yeah.
the bar at 2 a.m., you'll get over it.
Yeah, I still feel concerned for them, but that urgency has washed over me like waking up from a nap.
They're lying through
Wait,
the little
did-
teeth.
did any of you do something?
What?
Oh,
What?
they cast
What?
something on you.
You're all acting really strange.
Oh, well, he was charmed by. He was charmed by them.
Ah,
Their story
I-
is full of shit.
oh, that is so embarrassing.
Yeah, I could tell that.
No, it's I guess I failed my own abilities. Growing up as a monk, it's one of the
It's a
things
vibe.
that they had taught us was to try to
Can
resist.
you walk and talk?
charms.
Can you walk and talk,
I
please?
don't know.
Oh, you're
Yeah, we
still
almost
you're
to the
still
ship.
sailing to
Yeah.
We're
the ship.
sailing and talking.
You have probably just a couple more minutes to go, but you're getting
Okay,
closer and
sail into
closer.
her.
Yeah.
I will say
Uh,
at this time. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Zavar. I don't mean to interrupt you.
I was just gonna finish that. I had learned ways to avoid being charmed from time to time, but I guess it's been too long and I'm out of practice. Thank you. Please let me know and maybe I'll remember how to protect myself next time. I don't want to wish that to happen again.
That's what we have.
Just protect yourself.
Yes, and so if you tell me, I might be able to help myself next time.
We didn't know. I didn't know.
No, I know. It's funny. I'm like, did you want to say anything?
We didn't know.
Oh, okay.
I was just scrolling through. I'm like, oh, sure.
I've got a cool thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
You punched
That's okay.
stuff
Remember your
and
training.
Your cool things have trumped my cool
Remember
things.
your training, Zavar.
Where's the spirally eyes?
As you start kind of wrapping up that Zavar, Juniper, I'll say that you're keeping a pretty, probably, knowing you and your connection to the ship, you're keeping a pretty watchful eye on the ship and how close it is, blah, blah, blah. And anyone else who has a pretty high passive perception, you'd probably notice that the ship is starting to, is like immediately sinking. Like just like it had been hit and just starts sinking down.
how far
Juniper, make a wisdom saving throw for me, please.
Pull out the spyglass now that we're closer and see if this ship is bullshit.
13. I'm
Okay.
not sure I want to make this save.
Ooh.
Well, you hear kind of a voice, a very familiar voice. Do you hear that? I think I hear their screamings. Do you hear them screaming? I think we can save this. Kazil,
Mhm.
what were you? Oh yeah, you were looking through your spyglass to see if the
it's
ship
complete,
is
like,
bullshit.
illusory. Yeah, basically, like
You
is
looked
this
through the
fake?
spyglass, Kazil, and it looks pretty
Hmm.
solid. But it
Okay.
is sinking rapidly. Like it's almost halfway under the water. By the time that you
Like,
get there, you assume that it'll probably be fully sunk.
Are we within 300 feet?
Probably.
Perfect. Okay. Junie.
it's a football field.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank
Exactly.
you, Dan. I appreciate it.
All
You're a
right,
doll.
football field.
Yeah.
Okay. Dimension door. 300 feet straight at that ship.
Okay.
Where'd she go?
All right.
What? What's she doing?
Everyone else, you see.
Up out of the huddle.
Does it? Let's see
Yeah.
here. Wait a minute.
Lopsided all of a sudden.
I just want to see. Well, if I spelled it right. Stephanie, don't use your holler talk. You got this. Dimension. D-I-M-I and C.
Dimension.
Uh,
It's French.
all right.
Uh,
Okay, yeah. So you just teleport. Okay, I wasn't sure. I couldn't remember if it like did a door or whatever. Yeah. So so everyone
I'll give-
else. We'll start
let
with
me-
this. Oh no. Are
I'm
you
just
not?
wondering if I should take someone with me or not, but they have to be willing. So, she's gonna like.
I was
you know,
very willing.
Put her, do the Captain Morgan stand on the railing,
Mm. Mm.
and she's gonna look at you and realize there's no one she wants to take with her, and then she'll dimension
Wow.
over.
Okay.
Damn!
Okay.
A burn and a spin.
I love it.
I don't even know we were
love
burned. She
it.
just
Awesome.
disappears.
Right? I can feel
Okay.
it somehow.
Why am I hotter all of a sudden?
Yeah. Why does it
Um,
hurt here?
So, everyone else, I'll just start with that. You suddenly see Juniper just disappear.
What happened?
What's going on?
Juniper?
Uh,
Leave
Juniper.
behind that scent of that smell.
Oh yeah.
What?
There's a sulfurous smell with
Oh, is there?
with Dimension Door. Mm-hmm.
Does it say that?
Mm-hmm.
It
I'm
might.
pretty
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, it says
Let's
in the
look.
description.
It doesn't mention a smell.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh, sorry, Zip.
it's okay. Sorry, and this is yeah. Okay. Carrying out to your
Looking it up
place.
too.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So, Juniper, you arrive. If you find out differently, Dan, let me know. But I'm looking at the spell in roll 20, and it doesn't mention.
I trust your boss.
Okay. Juniper, you arrive. You okay. So you're thinking of the ship, right? And that's where you're appearing.
Oh, it's 500 feet. Well, hot damn.
You
Okay.
can see the distance to go straight downward or upward.
So if I have to guesstimate,
Can you place you when you can visualize? Oh, okay, or you had to, no. As long as you see it, it should be fine. So yeah, you appear on the ship. You kind of dimension door. You teleport and you appear right on the top deck. The ship is sinking rapidly. You don't see anyone. As the ship is starting to sink. Now, please excuse me for anyone who knows how wooden ships sink, because I haven't watched a movie with a sinking ship in a while. Everything starts to kind of break, Juniper, you feel that the ship kind of breaking beneath you. Water starts rapidly coming onto the top deck as you appear there, and you have just a couple of seconds to get your thoughts together. What would you like to do?
She's looking for the door to the captain's cabin. Should be
Door to the captain's cabin. All right, so you head over. You do see the door to the captain's cabin. It does look exactly the way that you remember it, down to everything. And you know the ship pretty much in and out from how much time you spent on it. You're very familiar with it, very intimate with what it is, and and so you head over to the captain's cabin. And you start to, you open the door. Let me see. It is unlocked.
okay,
Do you go in?
throwing the door open. Yeah.
Throw open the door. Looks exactly as you remember it. No one is there. Make a perception check for me, please.
Is it 14?
Okay. Juniper, you quickly jump into the captain's quarters. You see immediately, of course, that there's no one there. But also that, and it's a little bit of a mess because of just like how the ship is being pulled back and forth. You hear boards breaking, you hear creaking. You're getting like a little bit of water coming in from the top deck from where water is rapidly coming in. As you're standing there looking around, you hear a crack as one of the masts out on the deck crack down. You do notice in the captain's quarters room that there are these deep gouges on the wall, kind of trailing along. There are some shorter ones, there are some longer ones. Kind of what you would probably from your experience would know is from could be from like swords going into the wood, slicing into it. There are a couple of daggers kind of gouged into the wood as well, close to the back of the captain's deck. I mean the captain's not deck, desk. Too many D's.
Not a problem on this ship.
And you also see, along with that, blood smearings on the floor, on the walls.
Is there any? There's no bodies. There's no
bodies.
Any papers on the desk? Any?
Yeah, make
anything
an
that might indicate
investigation check. More water kind of rolls in to the.
And she's noticing the water, but
make a dexterity. Okay, so 20 for investigation. Make a dexterity saving throw as well.
Okay.
As the ship kind of moves and jolts.
13.
Okay. You do feel yourself. You're not knocked to the floor, but as you kind of make your way towards the back of the desk, you are kind of like you lose your balance and kind of like feel this kind of push against the wall. And
Such mixed feelings.
And you just from the ship kind of just lurching a bit. So you kind of lose your balance and just kind of have to like refocus yourself and get back to looking at the desk. There on the desk you find papers that look familiar as to what you would have seen on the captain's desk, back when you were on the ship. There are I will say that you do. Are you just looking at the top, or are you looking in drawers and stuff too?
Just tearing it apart.
Okay.
Anything she can come up with.
Oddly, like nothing valuable, which is weird to you. Like, and there are all the drawers are unlocked. In one of the drawers, though, you do find a handwritten letter from a Bethel Alpine, or Alpin. inquiring about the ship, inquiring about the crew. It seems to be a general, how are things doing letter. A little familiar, actually.
This doesn't make any sense. She'll grab it.
Okay.
Stuff it in one boob, you know.
Yeah. You feel
And
another
we were-
jolt of the ship.
She's just wishing she'd left Blackberry behind.
Oh yeah. Blackberry is just like holding on to your neck.
Oh yeah.
You feel its little like squirrel claws kind of going into
Yeah.
your skin.
Yeah. Sorry. If I
But you
thought about
hear
it more.
another crack and another tumble from outside on the top deck.
I'm so sorry. Okay. Yeah, she's gonna keep she's gonna keep looking.
In the captain's quarters only, or are you going to go out to the other deck?
Yeah, we'll go out to the other deck.
Okay, so I will say as you go out to the main top deck area and exit the captain's quarters, you do see open and kind of flying back and forth, water kind of pouring in. You can still stay on the deck, like it's not completely submerged, but it is rapidly happening. You do see the shutters, the doors to the below deck kind of flapping open.
Oh God.
Now, at this point, I'll go back to the rest.
It's fine.
Yeah, so everyone else, Juniper's not there. Looking towards the ship in the horizon, you will see that it is rapidly sinking.
We also
Magdalene.
found.
Oh, sorry, go ahead. Nope, go ahead.
Just that if she used that spell via the Cape of Mont Blanc,
I saw that. Yeah.
then it will. Okay. Otherwise, you would.
I don't think so.
So
You don't have the cape amount. That wasn't done. Yeah, that was just a spell.
Where did you go?
I don't know.
Where did your friend go? That was Magdalene.
I don't know. If she wouldn't have. And I'll grab the
Yeah.
spyglass
And-
again.
And I'm looking at the boat.
No.
Okay. Zabar, I'll say that you're still approaching. You
Less than a
do,
football
as
field
the
then.
closer you get to this boat, I will say that the water seemed to be getting quite a bit rougher with each moment that you're getting closer to it. It doesn't seem to be quite storm level yet, but they are getting rougher waters than usual, than what you just had a few seconds ago, even. Kazil, looking through the spyglass, I would say that you're close enough. I won't even make you roll for it. Yes, I would say that. I'd say that you acted quick enough that you probably would have seen her, like, just enter the captain's quarters. The ship is, you'll see the water kind of pouring over onto the top deck. You'll see the doors to the below deck kind of banging open and shut. And you'll probably at that point, I think, just as she entered, you'll see one of the masts break.
Alright, tuck this into my vest, I think. Right, she's on the ship. She went to the ship, and it's sinking. I'll then I just leap over backwards off the ship into the water and polymorph myself into a giant whale.
Did
So I'll
something.
go underwater, yeah, and then
Okay.
it's a giant whale, so
Okay.
everyone knows.
Okay. So the rest of you, Tegan and Zavar, you see, because he'll just kind of like swan dive backwards and just polymorph into a whale and just like, oh.
Heading over to the other ship. Mhm.
Yeah.
I was
I mean-
going to say, just as we approached the ship, Tegan would look at the stern to see if there was a name on the stern.
Oh, on the ship itself?
Yes.
Uh,
Usually have the name across the stern.
Let me ask let me ask someone else. Juniper, would its name be on the stern?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh,
So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
you would see. Are you just looking? Yeah, I would say make a perception check for me, Tegan, with advantage since you're pretty tuned in.
$19.
Okay. Yeah, I would say you're able to barely make out that it says the Heart Stealer, right, Juniper? Yeah.
All right, just out of curiosity.
Yeah. All right.
And I see the whale. It's like, what are people are going?
Inga is
What-
just kind of standing there, just like,
I might actually share a glance with Ingot, like,
y'all are idiots.
I don't know.
Yeah, so Ingo just kind of look at you and like, is it always like this?
Unfortunately.
Zafar, what are you doing?
I ran over to the railing as Kazil does his reverse swan dive. I was like, in shock. I can change my appearance, but I can't do anything like that. Holy moly! And of course, gets splashed as he, hits the water and gets it back. At this point, I'm just kind of stunned.
Yeah.
Magdalene, how much faster can we get there? Our friend is over there. Kazil has jumped in the water.
We're
the
almost
boat is sinking.
I know. We're almost there. I can't really go any faster because it's almost time for us to start slowing down to like, so we won't just go past it. So we're actually we're getting closer though. We'll be there in just a couple of minutes. Okay. Ships aren't. I don't know. Whatever. We're not whales.
Yeah, and I'm not that good of a swimmer, and the person who has a little boat that could have taken us is already over there.
Yes, I understand. I'm just as riled up as you are. We'll get there. Looks like your friend is taking matters into his own hands, and that's when we'll like swipe cut to like Kazil.
I mean,
Got whale
I'll say-
vision.
I'll take like 5 seconds,
Okay.
like a turn, to open my mouth next to the boat in case
Okay.
anyone wants in.
Oh,
Right
okay.
now.
So yeah, so as you're
up in
like
the-
Oh.
trying to comprehend things, Tegan and Zavar, Kazil will stop at the boat and just,
I'm sorry. So I run over to the railing and look over as you go over, and then you turn around and you're like, "Rah," and I'm just like staring down your gullet. This giant, massive maw. Like, no, sir, I'm not. Nowhere in my mind am I jumping into that.
We saw Kazil turn it into the whale, so
yes,
we know it's,
yeah,
we know it's
you
Kazil.
know it's Kazil.
Would there happen to be
that mouth.
would there happen to be a bucket of fish on the deck?
No, there's not a bucket of fish on the deck.
Damn.
This isn't a fishing boat.
I'm just gonna wave on Kazil, like, whatever you're
Well,
doing,
in
get
and
on with
out.
it. Get on with
Okay.
Swan
Oh,
dive.
let me
Oh my
see.
God.
Let me see if. Okay.
Oh. You got
No.
Pixrin too? Gerbil?
No.
Pixtrin's
Maybe
the
I'll-
only one. It's like, oh, I'll get in.
it. Oh!
Yeah, I know. Zavar might have
Nice.
regrets about not jumping in later, but at this moment, it's
So
too
do I
dramatic.
just get in?
I'll stick out the massive raspy tongue up on the edge of the
Oh.
ship for her to climb on.
Well, she'll kind of like grab a hold of it and
Yeah, she will.
yeah.
And off full
Oh, it's so
speed.
slippery. Yeah. All right. Well, you know what? I know we started late, but let's just take that beautiful moment to like just take a quick bio break. And we'll come back.
Okay.
And breath.
We'll come
Yeah.
back to Kazil racing towards the ship. Our ship slowing, Magdalene's ship kind of slowing down, trying to like stop closer to it. And yeah, it'll be good. All right, so viewers, we'll be back in like 10 minutes tops We're gonna make it happen. 10 minutes, y'all.
Uh-huh.
10 minutes, she says to herself.
Mhm.
Okay, we'll see you
Mhm.
soon.
We'll be back in 2 shakes of a whale's tail.
Listen.
I can't remember if this is Blue Sleuths or another show, but it's Whale Time.
I've never heard that.
And a mail.
Yeah, we have mail time.
There's
Mail
this-
and never knows what makes me want to rub my tail when it comes up with a shell.
Be okay.
Wait, what?
Oh, he's talking to Lily.
Oh,
Yeah, sorry.
Say hi to Lily.
damn.
I'm
Lily.
sorry about that.
Lily, hi.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Do that again. How many channel points do you need to spend for that?
Tell Lily hi.
That's a good point.
Hi, Lily.
Oh, everyone says hi. Oh.
Yeah, I think channel points are just whoever's on the Mad Bird mic. The up close version. Yes, I think we'd all pay a little. Okay, I'll be right back.
Okay, bye. How are we doing, chat? How is everything? Oh, let me turn off the music so that way it's not.
Soda, do you want yours?
Yeah, now I have heals the mirror, never fail to leave one of my Guys, all my ciders. What now?
You can't. Was it like a custom local thing? You can't resupply?
No, I can. It's just I will be going to store until like Thursday, so.
They have like ABCs there, or is it like liquor store?
They have both. You can get it
really?
at the grocery store, or you can get it. They have this huge store called Total Wine. That's just like this huge store of like alcohol.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Just sign me up.
That's where I got my lovely scotch, thanks to Mason's recommendation.
Oh, that's right. It's like a 15-year, right? Yeah. Nice.
So good.
Would you mind passing back the thing though that's covered now? I know, right? I'm sorry. I know you're busy.
Lily is too busy for your shit, Dan.
Yes. Aren't you, Hoover? You're killing me. Please. I didn't have time for hot sauce today, but
Sounds delicious. I'm gonna have a s'more after I do that.
we were just saying that earlier about going to store, so.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Which those in the household are welcome to share it. Very satisfying. Mason, get your butt back. Alright, well I guess Mason's or Zavar's still in the ship, so I guess we could go ahead and just start
I
back.
don't know why I didn't want to climb in my mouth.
I don't know either,
You
honestly.
gave him the chance.
Yeah, you really did.
Yeah.
You did all you could. Oh,
Although,
Smithy.
yeah.
Wait, did I hear something about wine? Oh, I don't. Well, I mean, I do have a wine, although it's not my favorite. But I was just showing some scotch that I bought at a place called Total Wine, which is this huge like department store for alcohol.
Just to add, I'm dashing.
Okay.
On my speed, double my speed, so
Here he is.
it's like 12 seconds to get the ship.
Okay. All right, let's go. In 3, 2, 1, we're back. While Dan finishes his bagel, his boggle,
Boggle.
Bagel.
bagel.
Oh.
Alrighty.
It's important.
Oh, let me get the music going again. Which is
Did I
kind of-
just realize that Ren also had a squirrel? Wasn't that
Yes.
a joke? Okay.
Rin also had a squirrel.
Okay.
Sorry. We're gonna play the dangerous music. Okay. All right. Casil, let's see here. You are racing towards the ship. You get there within a mere seconds. What is your first action? I would say that as you're approaching, Juniper, once you exited the captain's quarters, what are you doing?
She's walking across the deck towards the doors that are slamming open.
Make a perception check, please. Juniper.
17.
You would see a whale coming towards the boat from Magdalen's boat. Racing towards you.
What
Just
color
as
is it?
you're just about a couple feet from the doors going down to the lower deck. Yeah. What color is the whale,
Bluish.
Casil?
It's kind of a deep blue bordering on gray. Like, not a dark
Okay.
blue, but like
So not a white
light
whale.
blue.
Not a big white whale. Okay.
No. There's enough of those.
So yeah, there you go, Juniper.
Is it an attractive whale?
Oh,
I
it's
recognize.
Possibly the handsomest whale you've ever
it
seen.
Yeah.
maintains my
Yeah.
some of my character. No, just kidding.
It has a little bit, has some facial hair,
Yeah.
you
Is
know.
it wearing
Yeah.
glasses?
Yeah. It's wearing a scarf.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And feel the weight of all the sending that it's done in its life.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, it's wearing a tie. Do we see a glint of intelligence in his eyes?
You can't see
Or
that. You
there's
can't
just
see
nothing
that
there.
far.
Okay.
Aw.
All right. So she'll groan because more than likely the only person on that ship with the audacity is she probably can guess what this whale is, and she just
Casilla, did you close your mouth around Pixrin, or did you leave the mouth
Oh,
open?
Closed it up. Mhm.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
I was curious if it was open. Pixrin would be out like Juniper.
Nice. Not till I approach. Then I'll
Okay,
like
okay.
that.
So Junia stop to like contemplate what she's possibly seeing. If that's too meta to assume that the very charismatic bard would change himself into a whale.
No, I think if you're smart enough to figure that out, absolutely. I would say that as you get like about a foot from the doors leading down to the below deck, you hear yelling. You hear like people yelling below deck.
Okay.
Some screams.
She can no longer see the whale. She is
Mm.
down that hatch
Okay.
through the doors, throwing them open.
All right. As you go down, water is just pouring in. You have about probably 2 feet of water at this time, kind of seeping through this below deck area.
Yeah, she's having
Um,
some serious nauseating.
Because the ship is just
Flashbacks.
lurching back and forth. I will also say, Kazil, before I forget, as you're getting closer to the ship, the waters are becoming more choppy.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And also make an Arcana check for me, Kazil. Juniper, as you get, and I'll come back to you with the result. Yeah, so you're kind of make a dexterity just general check for me, Juniper, just to see how well you're able to keep yourself stable.
Let's see, 7. How do I use my inspiration?
Roll a d10. You're gonna add it to the total.
Okay. I'm not actually sure how to do that in this system.
Well, you can just roll a d10 in the system, and then. Are you looking at D&D Beyond?
Yeah.
There's some dice. Is at the bottom left, I think.
Yeah. It's
Oh, look at that. Cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Roll. Woo. 3, so 10 for that dex check.
Okay. Juniper, you're having a hard time keeping yourself up, like, stable.
Sure.
There's a lot of lurching. There's a lot of moving. The ship is just going back and forth, and things are being jostled below deck. I will say the below deck area looks exactly how you remember it. And you still hear the screams. You still hear the yelling. Make an intelligence check for me, please.
Come on. 14.
Okay. You definitely recognize some of these yells, some of these screams, and these cries for help. Is there anything specific that you're doing now that you're below deck? And then I'll go back to Gazeel.
Yeah, if she hears screaming, she's gonna run towards it. And she's doing whatever she can to, like, stop Blackberry from having a heart attack down here. She's just, like, trying to calm him.
It's working. Blackberry is. In fact, make an animal handling check with advantage for me.
Okay. Alright. Wow. Better. 15.
Okay. Yeah, it's working.
Okay. It's my
And
animal, so-
and make a fresh perception check for me as well, Juniper.
Okay. Come on. Yes. 23.
Okay. You will also notice gouges in the wooden walls down here as well, as well as smears of blood. You can't really tell on the floor because there's so much water, but you can see some smears on the wall.
I just.
And
Mm-hmm.
yeah. And I will say before I get back to Gazeel, you would also notice on the other side of this below deck area, you have to get across, like, the length of the ship first. You would notice on the other side of the room another open, like, floor doors that are just kind of, like, banging open, water pouring in. I will say, since you would know, you've been below deck in this ship a lot.
Yeah, I have.
Never knew of another set of doors going to a below. There shouldn't be anything below this.
What?
We'll go to Kazeel. Kazeel, you have arrived at the ship. Right before you approached, or right before you got to it completely, you would have noticed Juniper kind of looking out at you, and then starting to go and going downstairs below deck. The ship is, by the time you get to it, is pretty close to being a lot underwater. It seems to have slowed a little bit, but it's still pretty much rapidly taking on water and going down. As you get there, you hear another bow break. You hear another, yeah.
Cradle? Yeah.
You hear another one of the masts break, and a lot of the sails have fallen. Interestingly enough, the mast with the flag on it is still upright.
For all that, it still stands.
Oh,
I got too silly.
that's what you get.
It is, yeah, for real. Okay, as I'm approaching,
Yeah.
Junie jumps in. I'm coming up out of the water enough to open my mouth.
Okay.
Like lean up on deck
Okay.
so Pixron can get out.
Pixron gets out. Oh,
And then I shift back to Kazeel, shirtless as is canon. That's how I learned the spell.
I would say that Pixron will give you like a light slap on the shoulder. You could have been a bit more careful. You had
Hey,
someone in your mouth the entire time. You should have remembered that. A bit more gentle next time, okay?
More, whatever it is you need. I'm a listener, so. Hey,
God.
hey, oh, that salt bot, right? June, I saw it drop down here.
Oh.
We can breathe, an areas gave us, so don't worry if we
Right.
get underwater too much. Let's get there. Let's gonna run it over. Ready
All
to
right,
jump
I'm
down.
ready.
All right, plot this Pixron.
Mm-hmm.
Down the same
Pixron
area
will
that
follow
Junie
you.
had.
I would say, Juniper, you're about halfway down or halfway into this below deck area. When you hear a pretty good deal of splashing above deck, some more water kind of rolls in, and then you'll pretty soon after that, Kazeel will drop down with Pixron.
I'm gonna cast Send Me to Junie.
Okay.
Pixar and I are here. Everyone else is on the way. How can we help? Do I hear any voices?
No, you do not hear voices.
Okay.
But you do see. Make a perception check for me, Kazeel, please.
26.
Okay, you do see like these pretty deep gouges on the wall. Everything's tossed about in here. You have about 2 feet of water that you're trudging through, going on about 2.5. It's rising pretty rapidly. And you also see smears of blood on the wall as well with that high perception check. But you don't hear anything. And you would also see the open, another set of doors that supposedly lead to another below deck area on the other side of the room. So about, I would say Juniper's probably about 15 feet away from it. You're about 10 feet away, 15. You're about 25 feet away from it. From
Okay.
this other set of doors.
I won't use sending that.
Okay.
If I
Yeah,
use
you're,
it.
yeah.
Junie, what happened here? But what do you need me to do? What can we do? And I'll play that picture.
They're screaming. You can't. I can't.
Don't let them talk them out of. Don't let them talk you out of it, Junie. We gotta go. We gotta.
Screaming, I don't hear
Just keep
any, Junie.
going. I can't stop here. It's you
I'll
need to
follow
leave.
you.
The ship's gonna.
I
I can't.
I'll help.
Then you can follow me, but. And she's just gonna keep moving.
Okay.
I'm gonna throw a dispel magic at her. Like she's talking about hearing
Okay.
like screams.
Yeah.
And Zavar just went through something like this. I'm
Yeah.
like,
Okay.
Boom.
You throw a dispel magic at her, and I'll just go ahead and say that you don't. That's instantaneous, right? There's not a casting time on that.
It is.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah. It doesn't seem to. Doesn't seem to really like. You can probably tell with your experience. It doesn't really seem to land on anything.
Okay. Look back at. Do you hear anything, Pixar?
I don't hear anything either.
Well, let's follow, right?
Another kind of splash of water. Some more water comes into the area, into that below deck area. Juniper, you move towards the other set of doors.
Mm-hmm.
What do? They are open, kind of banging open. You look down. It looks like another. It looks like another below deck area, but it looks pretty full of water. To the point where you'll probably be swimming.
Okay. Am I hearing anything else?
Make another wisdom saving throw for me, please.
13.
Okay. They sound very distant, but you can still hear a little bit of the yelling. You'll also hear, don't stop. Keep going. Let's go. We gotta do this.
She's gonna jump in.
Okay.
She's got a swim speed of 30.
All right. I'll say that as soon as you jump in, Juniper, you see it looks like another below deck area. It looks pretty empty. There are a few like crates kind of floating, but weird because again, you never knew of the ship having a second below deck. You've never seen those doors before. It's always been just one. Like it was a good sized ship, but it wasn't huge, and very cozy. And you know, you swim at the end of this room, which is about the same size as the other below deck room that you were just in. You see some light shining from the top of the water down. So like a shaft of light, like almost like there's an opening at the surface of the water that you can submerge into.
Okay.
Seems
I'll
like
go
a
for
reddish kind of yellow light.
Any? Yeah. At this point, she's just. Can I cast water breathing on on an animal?
You find right. Well, I mean, how many water?
I think
It was
it's
up to
just
10.
enough. Okay.
Okay, I've got water breathing.
10 willing
so...
creatures. So
Okay.
yeah, he probably Okay, you have water breathing?
Yeah, as
Okay.
an invocation. So I'll just do it. In retrospect,
Oh, Rhaenyra's did it to us last night.
Yeah, but he only do on 10 people. So
Oh, okay.
it would have
where it
I mean,
says-
an
Probably
animal's
not got this
animal's
girl.
going
Yeah.
to be out either way.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you cast water breathing. You probably felt because he was hanging onto your neck before, so you probably felt him kind of take a gasp of air, and kind of feel that kind of choking. But the water breathing seems to work, and I'll start to just mark it off your spell list. But he seems to be doing well now, if
Okay.
not very scared, still clinging to your neck.
Come on. We've done this before, baby. It's okay. Just deep
Yeah,
breath.
tail kind of wrapped around the front of your neck, like, completely like with the water, just kind of like, yeah, some of the hairs getting into your mouth.
Okay. All right. Just like old times. Hold on. I'm gonna pull it down like a meat
All right.
around your neck.
So you're swimming towards this light, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Kazeel, you saw Juniper jump into, and you saw a splash of water as she jumped into this other set of doors.
Great.
What do you think that we should do?
Well, I'll let the crew know. Let's jump. Let's get in there. We can't lose sight of her. I'm gonna cast sending while we run over to jump down
Okay.
to Tegan. Tegan, here's the directions. We're down a deck, heading down another. Doors are open. Junie's here in places that aren't here. We're keeping up with her. And I'm gonna jump down into the water. Oh my gosh. And I'm sorry, how can I do this to a second person? I can't. Alright. I'm going to jump down into the water. Is this are there any tight spaces here, or is this like another like this?
It's like another,
just
it's
another
just,
thing
yeah,
with
it's another
ship.
like below deck kind of open room. Yeah.
Okay,
Um,
I'll polymorph once more into a shark this time.
Okay. All right.
Like one that
Swimming
will-
speed of
I
a
think
shark.
will fit.
How fast does a shark swim?
Let's see. Um, 40 feet. Hunter shark, 40 feet.
Okay. What is your swim speed, Juniper?
I thought 30, but let me just check. Speed. So my speed equal to your walking speed, 35.
Okay. So, yeah, I would say, Kazeel, you're able to catch up with her right as Juniper, you get to the, you get below that shaft of light. And you look up and you see that there is an opening that looks like it leads to, almost like a little, like, secret area.
Swearing through the water.
Sure.
And I'm gonna kick off his nose if he gets close. To propel through that hole.
Okay.
Um,
All right. But yeah, when you get to that point where you can look up and see that there's another, that's when Kazeel is like pulling up right next to you.
okay. I have a fin on the, back of the shark. Is there a my shark anatomy? Not so good. Okay.
Yep.
Just gonna like motion
Open
through
up.
this hole. Can we just?
You can grab the fin. Yeah.
Okay.
She'll leap up through the thing.
Okay. All right. So you leap through. You enter into, it's like a small wooden room. It's almost like half the size of one of the below deck areas you were just in. All wood. And it looks like that there is a step up to a platform where you see a beautifully carved chest. Now, as I will say, I didn't mention, as you swim up into this area, Kazeel, and Juniper, you're holding on. You swim up and you surprisingly just kind of go up into air once you enter into the space. There's like an air pocket. So you go up into the air and land on this wooden platform that leads up to this chest. Juniper, I'll just say that you just lose grip and just kind of tumble a bit.
Sure.
But yeah, the only thing that's in this room is this beautifully carved chest with this kind of gold paint on it.
I don't understand. I thought they would be here.
Who? People you heard.
Yeah. I thought I was following them.
Violin off. Start playing the counter charm just in case.
Okay,
Oh,
Juniper, make a
what?
perception check.
Mm.
So yeah,
14.
I would say again with your expertise, because you're able to kind of tell that it's not really landing. It doesn't seem like she's charmed.
Okay.
What was your roll, Juniper?
14.
Okay, 14. You see on the chest, again carved with these kind of beautiful filigrees and designs. On the top portion of it, you see carved in the emblem of the ship, with the heart and the hands.
Well, I guess that's what I came down here for.
We should make sure it's not trapped or anything, I suppose.
Sorry, I'm just a little tired. If you wish, because I don't think I can search anymore of the ship before it's gone again.
I would also say with your perception in this room so far, and on the ship so far, Juniper, you would also notice some more gouges in the room here, and also some kind of against the wall in the back of the room, some satyr horns.
Like gouged in the wall or actual horns?
Just the actual
Gouges.
horns, like they've
Oh.
been removed.
Okay. So let me just lose my whatever meal I just had.
Yeah.
Not on Kazeel. I have enough practice to miss him.
Oh,
Can you?
that-
I hate to ask you to do this. Do you have like a? She doesn't have a cloak.
Anything you need.
I need this picked up. I need to get to this chest, and we don't have any time. So,
Hey,
yeah,
Take my scarf off.
I'll replace
Oh.
it.
It's alright. It's alright. Let's. You want me to look quickly and see if there's traps and you can swaddle it?
Yeah, okay, all right.
I'm gonna try and check for traps.
If you need me to do anything, just let me know.
Oh,
Oh fuck, Pixie! Holy shit!
She's like getting the water off from just swimming
Yeah.
because she was swimming
Yeah.
without the shark's help.
I'm gonna hand her Blackberry.
Ugh.
So will you just hold him,
Oh,
please?
sure. I can
Just-
take the little. Oh,
Thank you. He's okay.
you and you and my owlbear will get along. Oh, that's right. I don't have my owlbear anymore. I'll just pretend you're like. I would just pretend you're Garnet,
Oh. Oh.
not owlbear. Owlcat. Sorry.
Okay. Okay.
Right. Let's take a quick look.
Okay. So you're checking for traps.
Yeah.
Okay, just checking for like just your typical kind of like, if there's like a spell or something trapping the.
Typical.
Trying to
I
open
think
it.
it's magic or mechanical, so
Okay. Okay.
And
I
I'll-
don't know if there's a separate or anything. But there's-
Sure. Why don't you make a perception check for me, Kazeel?
and-
Sorry, Jeannie. Did you have something?
just to let you know, she'll just try and explain as quickly as she can. This room shouldn't be here. This chest shouldn't be here. These gouges. That something terrible happened here, and it wasn't the storm like I was led to believe.
Oh shit. I got a 24 perception.
Okay. Kazeel, let me message you.
Oh damn. Okay. Gonna check. Oh, I shifted. Yeah, I out of the water. 3-point landing back.
Yes.
And now the absolute shite scared out of me when picture showed up a few
Yes.
seconds later. Any coolness from that moment gone.
Okay. Sent.
Oh.
Now, are you touching it, Kazeel? Please.
Well,
Were you touching it before I told you that?
No. I was
Okay.
hovering over. Like,
Okay.
We saw
Alright.
the hover hands.
All right. Okay.
Mhm,
Okay.
mhm. I'm just gonna send a quick clarification
Sure,
thing.
that's
back to
fine.
Renee, knowing I'm gonna have to Kazeel knows as he's discovering this, he's gonna have to explain this in a way that's gonna be compelling. So,
And DM, you said there were horns as if they were like removed from a satyr, like bloodied.
They look far from bloodied. It doesn't look like it was fresh.
Sure.
Yeah, you would recognize them as. I mean, it's either satyr or it's ram or something similar.
Okay. So yeah, while Kazuya's figuring out how to
yeah. Just
uh,
to pretend. Yeah.
yeah, did you give me your scarf? Is that what it was? 'Cause
Mm-hmm.
okay, so she's gonna wrap the horns while he's working.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Make a history check for me, Kazil.
17.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, I will say that you probably have studied this before.
Okay. It's my actual sage character. I finally nailed it down.
Sure. Yeah.
Yay.
Which one it is? Mm,
And I would say that Juniper, as you're wrapping up, what were you wrapping up again? I'm sorry.
The horns.
Okay, so there are probably, I'll come back to you, Kazil. I'm sorry, I'm just trying to have things
okay.
happen at the same time.
Mhm.
How many sets are you grabbing? There
Oh,
are
God.
probably about 7 here. Seven
Oh.
seven separate horns.
Oh, there's an odd number.
I'm a
Where's the
monster.
other one? Where's the other one?
So how many are you grabbing?
Oh, fuck.
I will say that probably, because I don't think you have a bag of holding, right? You just have a
No.
regular. You
Yes.
probably wouldn't be able to put all 6 of them in your bag.
It's Pixrin.
Oh wait, is it Pixrin that has the bag of holding?
Mhm.
I'm sorry,
I think so, yeah.
remind the DM. Okay. Do you want me to hold some of those for you, dear?
I'm so sorry. Yes.
Sure,
I'll explain later.
okay.
Ugh.
Look, it's fine. I understand. It's fine. It's okay. I'll take them for you. And in fact, she'll just take all of them and put them in her bag for you, and just give you like a very gentle, reassuring pat on the shoulder. It'll be fine. We'll get out of here in just a little bit. And as you're, that's happening to you, Juniper, you feel yourself step on something, like something hard.
It's not something I'm used to on this ship. What? What?
You look
No.
down, and it is a red velvet bag.
Oh. Okay. Oh, she'll grab it.
Okay.
Is this familiar or just?
No, just a plain bag.
Okay.
Do you open it?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Inside, you will see, and then I'll tell you what's inside. Then I'll switch over to Kazil.
Okay.
In true DM torturing fashion.
Mhm.
Inside, you open it up. You pull these little knotted strings. Pull it open, and inside is it looks like a golden emblem. It's hard to tell without taking it out, and a note. And we'll go over to Kazil. Kazil, given the information.
I don't know how close like the other crew is to us, if they made it here, if they're swimming towards us.
Oh,
I'm just gonna send
right.
another team to Tegan.
Okay, let me switch over to them really quick then. Thank you for reminding me. Tegan and Zavar. So Tegan specifically, since you got the message. What are y'all up to?
I would have relayed the contents of that message to everyone else,
Okay.
including Magdalene
Oh my
and
gosh,
Zavar
that's
and Ingrid.
wild. Ingrid's just leaning against a railing, just like on the other side of the ship, just like shaking her head. What are you, Magdalene? What are you gonna do? You'll hear like Mags barking at the ship in the distance that's quickly going underwater.
I don't know. I mean, we should wait, I guess. I mean, we're not going to make it any better, the 4 of us. They're trying to get something out of there. I don't know.
Just hope nothing happens before something bad happens.
So you sent another message, Kazil. What did you say? Anything else different in that message?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Figuring that they might be on their way or almost here.
Okay.
The path led to a secret room there. And the treasure chest is disembodied satyr horns. The chest is likely a mimic. I have to convince Junie not to touch it. Please hurry.
Ooh.
And then I'll look at Junie and start parsing out what I'm going to say. But
Okay.
please carry on.
Yes, so back to given you just got this message, Tegan.
I'll tell Zavar that, but yeah, they found a chest, and Kazil thinks it's a mimic, and he's not sure if he can stop Juniper from investigating it.
Oh dear.
If it is a mimic, they're going to need us.
I only hope we can get there in time.
Let's go.
How are you? I have some rowing boats if you need them.
How far away is I thought by now we probably would have.
Yeah, you're not like, at the, well, yeah, I mean, that's a good point. I would say that, Magdalene has probably a plank that she can extend out. Okay, I can, well, it is halfway down the water, though. Well, what I can do is I can lower you down in one of our, rowboats that we have attached our, and, you just have to go, here, come on, just follow me. Time's of the essence.
Yeah.
So she'll lower down, Tegan and Zavar. Are you wanting to take anyone else with you? You do have Gerbil there. Are you wanting to take the whole, your crew, or just the two of you?
Oh, I'd say the same thing to Gerbil, expecting.
Okay.
And Rhaenyra is-
Gerbil would go.
Poor Rhaenyra's worst nightmare.
I'm gonna say, Rhaenyra, I might stay behind, and if you need me, just say. I'll keep this ship safe.
Understood.
Oh, thank you, Rhaenyra. I appreciate it. You look over at Inga, and she's like, And so you, Gerbil, Zavar. I would say probably Magdalene would go with you too. Well, no, she'd probably stay with her ship, given that there's not really any. So she would stay with her ship. So yeah, so the three of you go. She will lower you quickly on one of the lifeboats, and which is just a wooden boat that she had attached to the side of the ship. There's about, you'll notice that as she takes you to the side of the ship, there seems to be two on each side of her ship that's kind of tied, roped to the side of it. She'll lower you down one of those. Does it really quickly, surprisingly. Seems to be very practiced, and we'll get you down to the water and over to the ship. So you make it over there. You're able. It's very. Most of the ship is underwater. You have the top deck is mostly still above water. You have maybe a foot and a half between the top of the water and the top deck. But it's going down pretty quickly. Two of the masts are already gone. One of them is still standing, but still, it seems to be close to breaking. You do see kind of the doors open, going down to the below deck area. Are you trying to make it over to those doors, or what would you like to do?
That makes sense to me.
Yeah, eventually. But first, as Tiki gets near the ship,
Okay.
noting, and he's thinking in the back of his head, the name of the boat, and then what we heard in the library about that. He's going to look to where the command sent, where the helm should be on a boat, and see if he sees a helm.
Yeah, it is not manned.
But there is the helm is there, the wheel is there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just kind of turning quickly in the wind.
You will definitely take note of that. And come on, Zavar, we got bad news.
All right.
All right, and we'll make our way down.
Let's go.
Okay, so y'all go below deck. You are waiting. The first level, you are waiting through like close to like 3.5, almost 3 and I was gonna say 75%, 3 and 75% of water.
A football field.
It's a football field of water. I'm so good at measurements, guys. A perfect selling point. Perfect selling point. So I won't even know how big it is. Anyways,
Nice.
so it's about 3.5 feet of water that you have to wade through. Quickly rising. You do see a couple of doors. Make perception checks, both of you, please. Just me. This is true.
Nice.
This is true. I'm just like, it could be the size of a football field. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Gotta be 11
That's
inches.
more like a bread box, but okay.
Tegan, what was your
I'm
perception
gonna
check?
die.
16.
And Zavar, what was your perception check?
10.
Okay.
You start drinking.
Tegan, you
I
would
know.
know. You would know. You'd be able to see that, like, you can see like a couple of doors that look like they're open going down below, but it looks like it's completely submerged right now.
Okay. And I'll point the doors out to Zavar and say, here we go.
All right. Let us do this.
Okay. So two of you start swimming. You will know that you have the water breathing thanks to Anarius from the night before. Yeah. As you're kind of making it to these doors and swimming underneath, I didn't make them roll it, so I'm not going to make you roll it. I'll say that you're able to get to the opening that kind of goes up into the other room pretty okay. There are some things floating in that kind of second below deck area, but like some crates and stuff, but it's not too difficult to get there and to get across that room. We'll go back to because was there anything that you're wanting to do as you're waiting for them? Because this would have taken a few minutes. Okay.
Perfect. I'm just gonna look up at Junie. There's a trap. It'll send you like 500 feet away. So don't you touch it. I can get rid of it.
It can't be. It's not a. It can't be a trap. I came all the way here.
I can clear it.
Why would they leave a trap chest here? This is from my crew. It's not. They wouldn't have left a trap.
Well, if someone else was, I don't even think your
There's
crew was
no-
the last ones here.
There's no one else here.
Well, who took their? And I'll point to the pile where the horns were.
There's no
Like
one
the-
else here. There's no one else.
I'm gonna, as fast as I can, try and cast this spell.
Okay.
Okay. But I mean, I want to, I don't want to just automatically do it if there's anything, it sounds like Junie, also is not waiting.
Yeah, not waiting.
Right. Juniper, are you still looking into the bag, or are you wanting to?
No, she's got her attention on Kazeel now.
Okay,
He's trying
okay.
to tell her that she's wrong.
So you do see her, because you'll note with your perception. I would say that you probably do notice that she's holding a red bag,
Mhm.
Oh yeah, right.
like a
Sorry, the
small
bag.
red velvet bag.
So she's listening and just telling her that it's a,
Yeah.
just telling him there's no one else here, and she's gonna open that bag.
Okay. He's
What
got
is the
so
golden
inside.
emblem and a note?
Inside there is a golden emblem.
Traps. And he's something about traps.
Yeah, you've seen this before. It is a. I'll go ahead and describe it just for people watching, or it's like stacks of books surrounding a small door, is what the emblem is. It's flat, about a centimeter in depth. Probably about a football field. I'm just kidding. Probably about 1.5 inches, 2 inches square. but then only like a half a centimeter in depth, thick. So the emblem is like a small door symbol, and then like how you can see like a little handle on it, and then there are like stacks of books going in different directions around it, kind of forming a square. The other thing is a note that is rolled up and tied with a little string. And also there is a small red gem in it as well, almost like a ruby. Do you want to make a perception check? Although there is some like interesting gold paint on the ruby that's almost like putting gold cracks into it.
And so Junie hasn't seen this before, but you all have. Is that my understanding?
No, I think that I feel like you would have seen the emblem before. If you can't remember it, make a wisdom check for me.
Yeah. Sorry, I
No,
remember
you're
the
fine.
eye.
You're okay.
but,
There's a lot of information, so
Ooh, 7.
yeah.
I mean, it was only a week ago.
Okay.
But
I just don't. Okay, so
Everything.
it definitely looks familiar. It looks familiar. Not able to place it yourself. Maybe cast someone else. But you see that. You see the red gem, which
Is it the same one that they gave us in the library before they'd sent us down to the prison?
I'll say that it
and
looks
told us-
very. It looks similar. I mean, it's a gemstone, but also like. But this one does have the weird gold paint on it that the other one did not. And also the note that's rolled up. Do you unroll the note as Kazil's talking to you?
Yeah, she's sort of half listening to Kazil.
So I'd say you're just able to unroll
I
it.
get that.
Read some of the note before he does his thing.
Okay.
The note. Did you want me to tell you aloud what the note says, or send you a
it in
message?
private. Yeah,
Okay.
we'll use a sneaky sneak.
I don't want
Yeah.
you. Oh, I just about sent myself a message.
All right then.
Let's see.
Steph, hope you're doing all right today.
Yeah.
You got this.
You've got
I
this.
mean,
You could do this,
That
Steph.
sounds beautiful.
Yeah.
I like this idea.
What's really scary is she gets a reply.
Yeah.
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 Great.
Oh shit. Yeah.
The crew was killed by
It
kindness.
came from the house.
Oh God. No. We've always lived in this house. Just gotta
Okay.
figure out what I'm gonna blast Kazil in the face with.
Oh no.
I mean, if it's blast, it would be Eldritch Blast.
It's true. Agonizing, but he's so pretty. All right. Yeah, she's reading this note. He's saying something about a trap. She's no one else
Okay.
is here. Message.
Done. Sent. That's 2 separate lines. Well, besides the sign off.
So she stuffs that note in her other boob.
Okay. Okay. So I'll say Kazil. You're able to. You see this just as you're. So what are you going to do, Kazil?
Oh, 100% I'm casting another wall of force around this mimic.
Okay. All right. Okay.
I'm attempting to.
I don't think that there's anything that would keep that from happening. Because they don't have any kind of there's no innate protection. Yeah, no, you can totally do that. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I would say just as you do that, I'm going to go ahead and say that Tegan and Zavar and Gerbil, and Pixrin standing there holding
Blackberry.
yeah, blackberry. Keep wanting to say blueberry.
Too many berries, yeah.
Too many berries. So Zavar, Tegan, and Gerbil all kind of start, splash up and pulling themselves out of the water.
Oh, you're here. It's behind the wall of force.
Yeah, you see this pretty
shite.
good size, intricately carved treasure chest. It's the only thing in the room besides it's the only thing in the room besides yourselves.
It's 10 minutes, so I can keep it back there.
Who's Who's Reese? I feel like you've said that name
Riesla.
before. You've said this name before.
she's not. Wait, Riesla is which baddie is Riesla?
Riesla,
that-
since there's so many, Riesla
It's
is.
okay.
Riesla's the one that talked to you in the library.
Yes, she was the proposed head of
That's the
library.
one that
Damn it! 3
They-
days ago.
had
Right,
that
presented the-
conversation with
Right.
you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right,
Who has
she's the
my
one that
steering
told
wheel?
you,
She's
the
the one-
steering wheel.
She has my
Right, that was
steering
her.
wheel.
Right. I'll say that out loud.
Correct.
No reason, actually.
Is there anything else to look for? Because this chest is obviously bad news. I think
It's a
this whole,
mimic.
I think this whole ship is bad news. I think it's
It's-
fake.
So, a fake.
Yeah.
No.
What?
From
Didn't you notice the
Lisa?
green? Didn't you notice the green mist?
Yeah.
And as I came to board the ship has a wheel.
Oh.
No, the library has the wheel.
No, this ship has a wheel, so they both can't have wheels.
Kick myself for not seeing it.
What about the? There were people. There were.
Are there any
Wait.
bodies?
There was parts of bodies.
Hmm.
But I heard them. I heard them. I came down here
We
Uh,
did not hear them.
and. But there's nowhere else they could be.
Well, they're not here.
Hmm. Maybe there's another room. Maybe I missed one. Maybe it's there was a door somewhere. This room's not supposed to be here anyways.
Pixar and I didn't hear voices.
No, I didn't hear a thing.
You wouldn't recognize them anyways. They're
If
maybe
those
I missed
hor-
a door. Maybe I missed a door.
No, that's if those horns belong to the people you're looking for, I think that there's some people that can tell what the rest of them are, the other parts of them, and so hopefully live parts that the horns used to connect to. I don't even think they're here.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Juniper. I don't think they're here.
I'm sorry. You shouldn't have followed me down here.
I'm glad we did.
Yeah.
That chest has nasty teeth, and one person alone wouldn't want anything to happen to you, Jeannie.
And besides, those other creatures, they tried to trick me to come over here. It only makes sense that you've been deceived as well. I'm so sorry.
No.
This is danger. This is all full of danger.
This is. Yeah. You weren't supposed to see the ship like this. They're supposed to be here. I don't.
This isn't
What?
even a real ship, Jeannie. You can show us the ship one day.
We'll find it.
Hey,
What's this chest? Why did I come down here then, if not for this chest?
Why did you
It's-
come down here?
I heard screaming. I heard my crew. I heard her.
But what
I-
I have to ask Jeannie, since you backed off the ship before, did you hear the voices from that far away back on our ship?
No, but it's my ship. I had to know. I mean, the last. I just had to know. And then I looked in the cabin and I found something, and then I heard screams and I knew that the ship was. Well, it's not gonna. It won't be here long, and I guess maybe it's better this way. You should go.
I think we should all
Oh.
go.
I think
You should come with
I think
us.
you should go.
No,
This is-
we're not leaving without you.
It's
It's not the ship, Junie. It's not the real ship.
how do you
You're-
know? It's not your ship.
Ginny, your
How do you
That's the
know?
wheel.
your attachment and your trauma is being used against you. Believe us.
These
You are being manipulated.
Tegan saw the helm of. Now I know. It seemed that you really knew.
What?
Did Tegan really see?
16. To make sure that
That's funny.
Tegan's being truthful about the steering wheel.
Tegan, are you being truthful?
Yeah, we can go look at it on the way out.
But the library has it. How can it be here?
Exactly.
Exactly. Here's a bloody trap. I'll point
It's a
down at the
trap.
chest again.
Did you ever have traps on the Heart Stealer?
No. Well, this room's not supposed to be here.
Ah,
There you go.
It isn't.
Here,
Who knows
she's
your
gonna,
ship better than you?
she's gonna pull that wet note out of her bra.
Well, thank you.
Oh.
I guess.
Yeah, yeah, just
You're just handing it over.
yeah.
Okay.
Wipe the water off her face.
Yeah.
So
I don't know what this means, but
it smells a little sweaty, Kazil.
yeah, you know.
Nice, huh? Oh, it's. Can I read it aloud?
Yeah.
Is it alright
It
for me
the-
to?
Okay.
Junie?
The note
Okay, what does it
says,
say?
I apologize you had to see this. That's on one line. The next line says, this can all be changed if you just ask. Sincerely, Riesla.
Oh, that.
Written in a
arse
very,
hat.
very beautiful script handwriting.
This is. Well, if it can be changed, if they can do it, we could do it, right? Maybe not right today, but we set ourselves a goal.
Is that the only thing you found here? Is just this bag? With the...
Let's see. What did I find in the cabin? Was I'm trying to remember.
Hmm. Oh yeah, it was the name of something, right?
Yes. Oh, it was. Well, I wrote it down. I didn't.
Company maybe or something.
No, the name.
The name was Bethel Alpin.
That's right, Bethel,
Ah.
which we now know as also library. There's libraries all over this place. And it's
And-
going. We. I'm
and so is
sorry.
the water in this boat.
Yeah, we
I
should.
think
we should go.
we need to go.
I'm sorry.
We need to leave.
You did the best you could.
Oddly enough, the room isn't getting any, like, the water isn't rising any in this room, at least.
Yeah. Oh, there, the water's rising.
Do you feel a slight lurch?
Time to go.
Right. We'll keep our eyes peeled on the way out. See if there's any clues, Junie, that can lead us to the real ship and the real crew.
Sorry. I just wanted to see it again. I didn't even look at the steering wheel when I came down. I was just so. I hate the library.
You hear
Why?
Yeah,
Yep.
indeed. What they have done to you is horrifying.
This is their doing, not yours, Junie. Don't you apologize.
you hear
Pick
some
some
large
things.
snapping, like
Let's
a lot
go.
of wood breaking.
We must leave.
I've already gone down on the ship once. I'm not going to do it again. And
Ooh.
I'm definitely not bringing you all with me.
Ooh.
Alright.
But
All right. Well, she'll just as an act of good faith, she'll try and lead them out so that they don't think.
All right.
She's gonna try and stay behind.
I'm gonna investigate the crap on my way out.
Yeah.
okay. All right. I will say, Juniper, and Jonathan can retcon this if he gets back.
Ooh.
I will say that as you start, you start to kind of get yourself together to like start leaning everyone out. That Gerbil will put a hand on your shoulder and just kind of give you a reassuring glance, and then
All batted
So just-
down.
Oh yeah, he is just
He is soaked.
soaked.
Uh,
It's okay.
Blind bear.
I didn't know
Yeah,
you could swim. No, yes, I
I
did.
didn't either. Juniper, you head down to the water. Everyone follows, correct?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
And Kazil, you said that you're just looking
I'm
around.
investigating my way back. If they
Yeah.
bypass the captain's quarters, I'm gonna go back in there too. I've got the breathing. I'll polymorph if I need to. I'm just doing all the things.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, with the exception of going underwater again, if there's, I mean, she's still not totally convinced this isn't her ship, but if there's something you put on the ship you want me to find, please let me find it. No, and not that chest. I mean, I still want to look. She's kind of just like tracing the sword gouges in the wall as she goes, and
Okay.
Was Renarius with us? He didn't come, did he?
Rhaenyra stayed
no.
back on the ship. All right. So Juniper leads everyone into that room that led you into this air pocket, into the mimic. Yeah, it was completely submerged before. There's definitely been some damage since you've been into this room. A mast, one of the masts have kind of fallen into it, so you do have to maneuver around that. As long as some like floating debris, there seems to be more debris here than there was before. Everyone here make dexterity saving throws as you swim through this room. There's just a lot of things to maneuver around.
11.
Okay.
Oh,
You said 11 too, Kazil?
21.
21. Wow.
Yeah, I rolled a 15 and I have a +6.
Wow.
My dex saving.
Tegan, what did you get?
23. I rolled a 15 as well, but I have
Oh,
a
jelly.
And
+8.
Zavar, what did you get?
21.
Ow.
Wow.
We are
Okay.
one dex
So
group.
it kind of makes sense that like Juniper is the one that is having some issues maneuvering. You're very,
Sure.
you know, a lot of things are on your mind, Juniper. But you're having a little trouble kind of maneuvering through. You're able to, but you find yourself kind of trailing behind everyone. You'll help, Zavar? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So
Okay.
Zavar will see that you're kind of struggling and help you through the debris. I'll allow that. As you get to the other doors leading up to the first below deck, there is no air. It's completely underwater as you swim up into it. The same thing, you have the mast kind of like just completely like cutting through this. As you start to swim through, part of the ship starts to break open almost as it starts to sink. It seems like it's completely submerged at this point. You see a bunch of debris floating here and there. Everyone make another dexterity saving throw as you swim through this room as well.
The natural 20 for
Ow.
26.
Wow. Zavar?
I rolled a 19 for a 26.
Wow. Tegan?
14.
Still okay. Juniper?
Also 14.
Okay. So, I would say the two of you kind of notice Juniper and especially you, Zavar, since you seem to be kind of watching out for Juniper before. Still having a lot of trouble, but you're helping her out. Tegan, you find yourself kind of trailing towards the end of the group as you're swimming through this room. It's just a little difficult. I'll say that, let's see here. Yeah, I'll say that Gerbil will probably help you out, much as he can. If not him, then definitely Pixtron. Yes.
Did you say that the mast that had the flag on it was now down also? Like in the
You don't
water?
see the flag. Right now, you're still in that below deck area, that first below deck. So you can't really see too much around you. There's just a lot of rubble. I just said the mast had pretty much like cut through this room. And it was just pretty much like, as you're swimming through it, you can tell that the ship is kind of splitting in two. splitting into pieces.
Okay.
And Juniper, make a wisdom saving throw for me, please.
Woohoo! 6.
Okay. As you're swimming through this room and you see all this destruction, you start hearing the screams again and the yelling. It sounds more distant than it did before. And you start hearing calling of just different crewmates that you recognize their voices, calling to each other, you know, have you checked this? Have you, you know, go and make sure that the captain's quarters is secured. It seems like that they're battening down for a fight or for a battle. But it seems like there's an active battle happening almost in that room that's the sounds that you're hearing. You hear swords clashing against each other. And you can almost picture those people with the voices as you're going through this room.
She'll draw her sword.
But you don't see anything. You just see your
Okay.
friends.
Mm-hmm.
And as you're swimming, you get towards the other side, and the doors leading up to the top deck area, yeah, the ship's completely underwater. As you emerge, you would notice that you probably have, and the ship is still actively kind of settling in. So you still feel a little bit of a pull down as you're trying to swim up. And almost kind of feeling pulled down with the ship, even though you're not being held down with anything. It feels very oppressive. But the rest of you, as you clear that door and you see that there is water above you leading up to the top where the water surfaces, you have probably about 20 feet between yourself and the water above.
Tegan will look make sure everybody's keeping up, heading for the surface.
Zeal's still looking around for things, if there's any areas to check, especially the captain's quarters. Is very.
Okay, right. And no, Kazil, to your answer to your question that you texted.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, so going to Kazil and you looking around, did you make a perception check?
Yeah. Jingle.
Okay. Yeah, you would have noticed the gouges in the walls. You would notice some little, like, smears of blood on the walls and on the floor. I would say there's enough water and you're swimming through it that you'd be able to see these things. You would also notice, just like as you're swimming through the water with your perception, just like tatters of like clothing. And it seems to get worse as you continue swimming towards the surface of the ship, like as you start getting towards that top deck area. You see like little pieces of clothing, bits of metal that kind of get more and more as you swim through it. Tegan, what were you doing? Were you doing the same thing?
Sort of just like, as I exited the last deck, just making sure everybody gets out of the lower decks and, start making their way.
Okay. Okay.
There's a reason I'm doing that, because I have something in
So you're
case.
making sure, I'm sorry, I got distracted. You're making sure that you're making sure everyone's getting through
out of
the
the
ship.
boat okay.
Okay.
Everybody's getting out of the boat okay.
Yeah. Make a perception check for me, Tegan, please.
Okay.
Are you staying like towards the back of everyone? Because I know that you kind of traveled back with your
Yeah.
problems.
So before heading up to the surface, after leaving the last, right,
Yeah,
getting above decks,
got you. Mm-hmm.
before heading for the surface, I'll make sure everybody else is out of the boat.
Okay, so you're tailing back. Juniper, are you going up to that top deck area?
Well, I did try to be in the lead,
Okay, yeah.
but I can't quite pinpoint where the sounds are coming from.
It's just all around you for the most part. It feels. Give me that was a wisdom saving throw there. Yeah, it just feels like it's coming from everywhere around you.
Okay. Yeah, she'll keep going. She knows if she stops swimming now, she won't swim again. So, just keep going. Just keep swimming.
Okay. All right. So Tegan, yeah, you're able to stay behind.
Okay. And I rolled a 10 for the perception check.
Okay. All right. All right. So you made sure everyone's out. Was there anything else you were looking for now that you're the last person to leave the
Nope.
below deck area? Okay.
Heading up.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'll say that with the 10, you'll notice some gouges on the wall throughout this room.
Okay.
So yeah, and you follow everyone up to the top deck area.
Mm-hmm.
All right. By the time Tegan gets up there, you have about 25 feet now between yourself and the top of the water. Everyone make, as you exit out, because you all feel that pull to kind of be pulled down with the ship, with the force. Everyone make dexterity saving throws one more time.
Okay.
Juniper, make a what's wrong, Tegan?
If I see someone struggle, I'm going to do something. Okay.
Okay. Juniper, make a wisdom saving throw again for me, please.
That'll be
Okay.
me.
Let's see.
Yes, Kazil, I'm sorry.
Sorry, just to check, did I find anything else have I gotten a look in the captain's quarters?
So getting up this first, and then you'll be
Okay.
able to see the captain's quarters, because you're just trying to get out of that below deck area and into the main water, but you're feeling that pull down. Let's start with Tegan. What was your dexterity saving throw?
10.
Okay. Okay. Casil, what was your dexterity saving throw?
8.
Zafar, what was your dexterity saving throw?
23.
Wow. Zavar is doing
Dang.
well.
I'm doing great.
I have a new respect for this man.
Pixaran. Wow. And so is Pixaran. Gerbil are also doing well, pulling up towards the surface. Kazil and Tegan,
Mm-hmm.
you are feeling this, you're finding it very difficult to pull yourself out of it's not that you're stuck, and it's not that anything's in your way, it's just the pull of the water and the force kind of wanting to drag you down with the ship.
I'm shirtless and I got my scarf around. Like, I really want to lose my scarf too, so I'm like more focused on that.
If Tegan feels and sees, and certainly if he sees, so the only other person struggling is Kazil, right? So.
Yes. Well, Juniper, what was your wisdom saving throw?
12.
Okay. Cool beans. It's fine. It's fine. Juniper, you also feel like you're being pulled down for this, but it's almost for you. In particular, it's you don't know if you want to leave the ship. And you hear, what are you doing? You can't do this. We can change this. Use the gem. You can make all this. they've told you this is the second time. And we'll go to Tegan and Kazeel.
All right. So if anyone is, I see like I'll see Zavar.
You see
and other-
Kazeel. Zavar is
and my-
just
I'm
swimming.
struggling,
Yeah.
and if I see anybody else who's like not keeping up with those or who are heading for the surface,
Mm-hmm.
I will cast water walking
Oh.
on myself and Kazeel and whoever
Mm-hmm.
else if I see Juniper
You
struggling.
see Juniper struggling.
So I'll cast it on her, just assuming that
Okay.
she's having
All right.
the same issues as us.
Okay. All right. Cool beans. That's water walk. Okay. If your target is submerged in liquid, the spell carries the target. Oh, okay. All right. All right. Okay. Yeah, as y'all start swimming up, it starts getting about 30 feet away from the surface. Yeah, so Zavar, you're having no trouble. Kazeel, you suddenly feel very buoyant. It's almost.
The captain's
Oh, that's right. That's
No,
right.
I would have waited for you
Oh,
to
okay.
clear the ship.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, good, because I was
Yeah.
like heading over to the captain's quarters.
He is okay. All right. Yeah, you do see the captain's quarters completely. Everything's, of course, completely submerged. So you're still heading in that direction.
Oh yeah.
Okay. I would say
Last
that
thing
the
I
door is open to the captain's quarters. You are still struggling, though. Make a strength check for me to see how you can pull yourself against this force.
See to get inside.
Yes.
Yes.
We just noticed Kazeel has a gun show. We just never looked before.
Oh, that's a negative. Okay.
Oh, no.
Well, it's 16, but it was a
Okay.
7.
Well, I mean, yeah, so it takes a bit of strength. You feel definitely weak pulling yourself over here to get inside. And the door is open, though, and you're able to kind of pull yourself, kind of leverage yourself and pull yourself inside of the captain's quarters.
Check it out for
mhm.
anything I can
Okay.
see.
All right. Juniper, did you take the letter before or no?
No, I didn't actually.
Okay.
I
You
saw
put it in your.
Oh no, I did. I
boob
put it
slot,
in
right?
my. I did.
Yeah.
Boob slot
Yeah,
1 and
one
boob
Okay.
one
slot
per
2.
boob.
You
Yeah.
would
Yeah.
see again completely underwater, so the desk is a little is floating, kind of like dislodged a bit. You see a chair in the water. There are several like little pieces of paper kind of disintegrated into the water as well. I would say that you'll be able to find like a gold pin or whatever, but the desk is there. A few of the drawers are kind of dislodged a bit.
Just
Okay.
everything I can.
Make an investigation
anything.
check for me.
Investigation's only +3. Oh my gosh. Well, that's 15.
Okay. Are you looking for anything in specifically as you are opening these drawers?
Mainly, any like papers or correspondence, anything that might,
Okay.
have a company name or a person's name or something like that. Any ledgers? Keep track of anything.
I mean, I'm sure you'll find some ledgers. Some
Or-
probably a map as well. Yeah, go
Yeah,
ahead.
like they navigate across, like that's what I
Mhm.
really, more than anything else, a map to see like where they were, where their last navigational post was.
Okay.
on that.
I'll say that you're able to find these things. I will also say that they're not waterproof.
Mhm.
So you're grabbing them, and you can definitely tell these are going to be like not in good order soon. You can already see some like smearing.
Scan. I
Okay.
just want to see where that last navigation was. I'll forget everything else and just focus on that last navigation point.
The last navigation point. Let me pull up. Yep. Bye. Let's see here. Oh, they completely changed OneNote, and it's just in a different order than what I'm used to now. I hate it. I hate it. Let's see here. Maps. Oh, this isn't the map that has everything marked. Cool beans.
Scandalous.
Scandalous.
The
Well,
map
you know
with the
what?
Triforce
Good thing
on it?
that I just sent this to
Nice.
someone, so I can just scroll right up and see. All right. Did you want me to tell you aloud?
Yeah, sure. That's fine. Yep. I won't keep that secret from anyone.
It was traveling to the map that you find is of Osbergen. You'll see some port cities that probably you're not familiar with on the map. It shows a few stops here and there. There is a one line going to Victa that has a question mark to it, but it doesn't look like it's part of the route. It looks like it's maybe a questionable route that they've marked. And like a circle. And then the last place that they had been to, or that they were going towards, it looks like the place that they were going towards next, was, let's see here, the Amaryllis coast up in the north.
And
That's in the northern tip of Osbergen. So Osbergen is a rather kind of like lumpy skull circle.
Nice.
It's up in the north, kind of at that north west point.
Okay. I'll try and take the map with me before I try and roll and swim. What was the last dock, the last city they stopped in before?
It looks like that they were leaving possibly leaving for the coast from like there's a line going from Davenport that looks like the last place that they were at permanent, like, you know, physically. But the line going up to the coast has them stopping at Brakeburn, Greenell. Brakeburn is the northernmost port in Credentia, it looks like, marked. Greenell is an island to the east of the continent of Osbergen.
Okay.
And then they would have to go around that top northern coast to get to the Amaryllis coast.
Okay, so that was like where they were planning
Yes.
to go to get to
Yep.
Amarillo.
And it looks like their
So-
last physical location was possibly Davenport.
Okay,
But I would say that you'd probably find some notes that they had left Davenport.
Okay. Okay. All right. Carefully as I can, wrap them up, and with my meek little arms and what little physical energy I have left, I'll try and leave the office and escape, you know, the pull of the ship. If I can.
Okay. I was just putting in some spelling stuff here to
Thank you.
Zoom.
Nice. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I would say just make another so I would say that you're able to roll up the map. It does feel like it's losing virility by the moment, you know? And so you leave the
Water's
room.
cold. Leave it alone.
Yeah.
You leave the room and just make another since you are expecting it this time, because you'll make a strength check with advantage for me as you exit this
Okay.
room.
Oh.
And
Not terrible. Oh. Okay. Natural 20 with advantage. For
wow.
19.
Okay.
Yay.
So yeah, you're able to pull yourself out. Do you cast your spell still, Tegan?
Yes. Oh yeah.
Okay. So you
Oh,
feel this
good.
kind of like sudden buoyancy as you just start kind of floating towards the surface.
Yeah.
You as well, Tegan. Wow, I just completely so
Yeah,
many
I guess-
names were Rolodexing through my head, and I was like, Juniper, you start feeling this buoyancy as well, and I believe it's not. You target a creature submerged in liquid. The spell carries the target to the surface of the liquid at a rate of 60 feet per round. So, Juniper, you do feel yourself kind of being pulled towards the surface of the water. So you're being pulled away from the ship.
How do I feel about this? It's a spell that Tegan cast.
Yes, correct.
And everyone is moving the same, like everyone's being lifted.
Yeah,
towards
you
the
see,
surface.
you kind of look, and Kazil's being just kind of pulled to the surface. He's almost doing acrobatic, kind of taking complete advantage. Yeah. The scarf's kind of flowing around him. You see the sunlight behind him, coming through the water. Very angelic.
Eric.
Tegan's just kind of bulleting, I'm sure, right? Up to the surface. Kazil seems, Zavar seems to be having no problem, as do the others. So, yeah, you're kind of last behind.
How fast?
60 feet a second.
50. Wow. Okay.
60
That's
feet
like
a
2 football
turn.
fields.
60
Okay.
feet a turn.
Yes, every 6 seconds. So even faster, yeah. 10 feet a second, yeah.
Shoo! Yeah, so you're being
love
rapidly pulled away from the ship to the point where you're pretty much, by the time, you're almost breaking the surface at this point.
Can I see the flag? I know
No,
everything's
it's
underwater. It's
Everything,
all-
everything is it's pretty much in fact, as you're being pulled to the surface, I'll say that you can kind of see that kind of a cloud of dust as it hits the floor.
I need that.
Drop the beat. I'll also say that there was a lot of, oh shit. I didn't really, y'all haven't really been underwater, but you have. Jennifer, make a perception check for me, please.
Okay. 23.
Okay.
Nice.
And actually, Kazil, you probably would have noticed this too, being a whale and swimming underwater. So Kazil and Juniper, you would have noticed. Kazil, you would have noticed this earlier. Of course, the bones and the skeletons and the skulls extend out to this part as well. Maybe, about the same amount. Just seem to kind of just be sticking out of the sand. And the sand, still that kind of black sand, about half and half of regular sand and that black sand mixed in, little patches. There's no glowing red out here. Not you don't have any of those red throbbing veins in the water here. So Juniper, that's what you notice as you get pulled. You do notice that sand, which I don't know. Does it? Yeah. You wouldn't recognize it from Maudwitch.
Yeah, they told me not to touch that.
So you see that kind of cloud as the ship hits the ground, hits the floor, and pieces kind of break off, and you see some more of the ship kind of cave in on itself.
She's gonna. The option is to turn around and swim against the spell, or just let it push her to the surface. Going to. Let me look at the spell really quick. Maybe later. Yeah, she'll break the surface of the water for now.
Okay. So you see the ship one last moment before breaking the surface and just kind of get hit with this kind of breezy air. Um, it's gotten a little bit darker since y'all have gotten to the surface. Sky's darkened up a little bit. You would have noticed the choppy water before, Kazil, but you didn't notice the sky darker. And the water is still very choppy.
If I recognize I can
Yeah.
walk on it.
Yeah.
It's like,
So
oh,
yeah.
isn't there water walking?
Stand up
from
on
Yeah,
the
the
so
water.
so getting to the surface, for those of you that don't know, the spell grants ability to move across any liquid surface, such as water, as if it were harmless, solid ground.
What is wrong with
And that
today?
lasts for 1 hour.
What?
Yeah.
What kind of an ocean is this?
So you get pulled to the surface, Juniper, and almost feel like you're almost like laying on top of. You find yourself almost laying on top of the water.
And I can't pass through it. Is the idea? It's
You can
like
pass
solid.
through. Yeah, no. Yeah, it's a solid. So yeah, you can't get back through.
Oh,
Or well.
You could try, but
Yeah, I mean, I think you
Yeah.
can try. It says as if it were harmless, solid ground. So I think it just gives it like a firmness, I'll say. But if you wanted to, you could dive back in and break
But
the
you just-
seal.
pop back up
Yeah,
like a cork.
yeah.
The
Yeah.
invisible
Bobbing
box.
around. A
push
bobber.
yourself through.
Yeah. She's just gonna like. I mean, everyone's crashing up to the surface, catching their breaths,
Well,
or maybe not because water breathing. But
Yeah.
yeah.
she's gonna just slump down and watch. You know what she can see from here.
Yeah, you can see through the water. You can see some, kind of how anything looks through like this through when you're looking at something underwater. Very, yeah, swirly and swayy. But you'll see the remnants of the ship below.
Well, I don't even know if this is. I know it's probably not the best idea, but this feels like something not so grand that it would invite complete disaster. We always have the time device. If we wanted to try and undo this ourselves, just look around at everyone, gauge reactions. As I stand on the water, just shirtless with my scarf.
And I'm actually treading water because I didn't get the spell.
What?
Oh,
Because I was just like, phew.
What material was your scarf, Kazil? Because I'm just imagining like, hopefully it's nothing itchy because that would just be the worst.
Oh no!
Like,
Yeah, I
wool,
imagine it's kind
wet?
of like this. It's just I don't
Okay.
know what this is, but it's soft and
Okay.
comfy. so-
Okay. All right.
But it's
Yeah.
soaking wet, of course.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll pull Zavar up if he needs a get up.
Is there room on this piece of wood for me too? Thanks.
Oh no, sorry, you're dead.
Yep. Bye.
Yeah. Yeah. Jack.
I'll never
I-
forget you.
What's your name again?
Amazing.
The only thing Tigger would say to Kazil is, I mean, I don't know, but we would have to know what happened before we could undo what happened.
The library has already made me multiple offers to undo this,
They have.
and I haven't taken them.
Well, there's also this, and I'll open up the map that's probably like starting to tear. Oh,
Yeah.
well,
There's a
I'm-
couple
I
of
re-
tears in it.
Oh,
But I remember, and they were last at Davenport, back, wherever, and they were headed to, and I'll just give the rundown.
Yeah.
In the last place, the dots seem to end right about here, wherever the navigational dots, end.
The
In case.
Juniper, I'll say that the there's other ports, of course, you've heard of before and you've been to. The Amaryllis Coast, you've never really heard of. It's not really something that they used, at least when you traveled with the ship, didn't used to go to.
what would they go after?
It's very out of the way.
I don't. I'm gonna need some time because this map is. It looks like after. After it's well. And thank you. And can I take that?
Right, and I've got it up here. I'll write
Yeah,
it down. Everything counts.
He hands it over to you, Juniper, and you've
Soggy.
you've handled like maps and paper and stuff that's been in water before, so it's not surprising to you that's doing this, but it's pretty like definitely could use some being air dried out. Some of the ink is smudged.
Sure. Just hold it as flat as you can, and
Sure.
With one arm, and she's just putting one. If Zavar's up on top of the water, I don't know. She's just gonna reach out to whoever's next to her and just steady herself.
Gerbil, you reach over and it's Gerbil's chest.
Just yep,
Handful of hair.
yep, handful of hair, just like
Gerbil just kind of looks down and looks at you.
I'll look around for Magdalene.
The ship, so we'll say
Yeah.
that Magdalene will, you'll see Magdalene on the boat and just go, oh, hey! And we'll start to lower a boat that y'all can swim over to get back on the ship. And that's where we'll end tonight's session. All right. Thank you, viewers. Thank you so much, players, for playing this evening. We went a little bit over, but we started a little bit late, so all is well that ends well. And thank you, players, for trudging it out with just 4 of you. Appreciate it. You avoided battle. That's great.
woo.
All right, friends. Thank you so much. We have a lot of stuff going on here at Matt Bird Streams. Let me pull up the schedule. Let me pull it out for you. Just give me a couple of minutes.
Let me just whip this thing out.
So,
Yeah.
you've been watching The Forsaken, which is every Monday night at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. I look at the camera like I don't have the schedule up and it doesn't matter. Wednesdays at 1 p.m. Eastern Time is Mad Indie Game Time with myself and Dan currently. I believe we'll probably be playing some more It Takes Two this Wednesday, I think. Thursday we have Drawing Dan at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, where I'm teaching Dan to draw thoughts and prayers. 4 p.m.
Unreal.
Eastern Time on Thursday is miniature paint by Benny's with myself and Chrissy as we're painting miniatures here. Super exciting. She's teaching me so much. I made a great owlbear last week that I'm just so proud of. 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Thursday should be Mad Bird Squawks, where Dan sits down with a few people from the Mad Bird community, our players, our DMs, etc. Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time is Mad Art with Steph, where I work on some sketches or the comic. Saturday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time is Tower of Dreams. 10 p.m. Eastern Time is In Extremis, 2 of our D&D campaigns. Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time is Learning Blender with Steph. 4 p.m. is Mad Games at Dusk, and 10 p.m. is Obsidian Scar, our proper naughty campaign that is now on again, for the most part. All right. You are the best. Dan, do we have someone that we are reading over to that you know of?
Let me make sure they're still online, because I seem to have like terrible timing like that. But yeah, it's some new folks. Dice Versa Studios.
Ooh. All right. Well, thank y'all again. And give a call in the chat. And we'll see you next time. Bye.
Hey.